You're not actually going to go down there in this rain, are you?
Shame. Good evening and welcome to Grizzly Stadium on the campus of Northwest High School, where tonight ESPN Wichita and NW Grizz TV are excited to bring you another playoff matchup of Northwest Grizzly football. Tonight in the Class 6A Western bracket, it's the number 4 seed, the Grizzlies of Northwest High School, taking on the 5th seed, the Blue Jays from Junction City High. Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Strain, along with Kevin Arkin, and welcome into Grizzly football and our Toppers Plus pregame show. Game number 10 of the season has both teams coming in with identical records. Northwest is 7-2, and Junction City is 7-2 as well. That would be fitting, seeing how these teams are so closely seeded. Both coming off of wins last week in somewhat opposite fashion. The Grizzlies throttled Southeast last week by the score of 62-0, while last week Junction City did end up nearly doubling up south of Wichita. That's Wichita South, 34-18, but it took a while for Junction City to get going. They had a big second half to pull away in what was a really close game for quite a while, although there was some key injuries, particularly at the quarterback position, that affected Junction City. That should not be the case tonight, however, so we'll see what kind of Blue Jays team comes out here this evening. The winner of tonight's game, of course, gets number 1 ranked Manhattan, who is just a juggernaut in the state of Kansas right now, a team that Northwest played a couple of weeks ago tonight and doubled up Northwest 56-28. That game will be in Manhattan, assuming Manhattan wins tonight. They've got another Wichita school they're facing, Wichita East. We will keep you abreast on that score throughout the night. But first things first, the Grizzlies have Junction City tonight from a drizzly Grizzly stadium tonight, where it is raining, it is cold, and it is also windy. So wind, rain, conditions, weather in general will be a big factor this evening. Well, let's welcome in my broadcast partner, Kevin Arkin, who joins me here tonight. And Kevin, I guess that's where we'll start, is with the weather. Of course, Northwest's calling card has been their running game for so many years now, so you would have to think that advantage Grizzlies as far as that's concerned, because it's probably going to be pretty difficult to throw the football tonight in these wet and windy conditions.
It will be, and this is the first weather-related challenge for either of these teams this year. We've had such a great fall and such a warm fall. Every week it's been in the 70s for every game when we kick off, and now we're facing an unusual situation for sure. Yesterday here it was 78 degrees in Wichita. Right now it is 38 degrees. It is pouring down rain. It has been raining all day today, and the forecast is for 1 to 3 inches of snow overnight, and it may actually snow during the game tonight.
Yeah, the temperature's been hovering right around 40 degrees for the last couple of hours or so, and that's what we expect tonight. Rain, and again, like Kevin said, may turn into snow before this one's over, so it should be interesting here tonight. Let's talk about things on the field, Kevin. The Grizzlies sat out L.J. Phillips, their outstanding running back last week. He's rushed for well over 1,000 yards now. Maybe if it were a different opponent, Phillips could have played, but he certainly got the week off last week to rest up and heal up, and he's good to go and back in the fold tonight. And on the other side of the ball for Northwest, Steve Martin confirms that Caden Ross, who is tied for the team high in sacks, will also play tonight. So on each side of the ball, good to have those guys healthy again.
Everybody is healthy on the entire squad with one exception, and that is Michael Lopez, who is out for the year. Everybody else healthy, ready to go. I actually saw Heidebrecht and L.J. Phillips in the classroom today, and they're both pumped.
All right, so it should be a fun one, and again, Manhattan awaits the winner of this one tonight between Northwest and Junction City. So if you don't want to brave the cold, sit back and enjoy us on YouTube. We'll also have the action on ESPN Wichita 92.3. That will start at 7 o'clock once the Chris Kleiman show ends on radio. So if you happen to be getting into your car later on tonight and want to drive around and listen to the game, 92.3 ESPN Wichita will have Grizzly football tonight, as they have had all season long. Grizzlies in Junction City tonight kickoff coming up at the top of the hour. This is our Toppers Plus pregame show. Toppers Plus Truck Accessories sponsors your Grizzly pregame show. Stop by and see them at their brand new location, 333 Northwest Street, for all your car and truck accessories. Toppers Plus, Blake Esther, a friend, will take good care of you. Toppers Plus Truck Accessories. Well, earlier this week, Kevin Arkin had a chance to visit with Grizzly head coach Steve Martin, so we are going to take a time out on our Toppers Plus pregame show. When we come back, we'll hear that conversation. So stay tuned for that as Grizzly football continues in a moment.
Pregame show continues. Now it's time for our weekly visit with head coach Steve Martin, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Check out goarmy.com for the recruiting office nearest to you. Coach, don't know which way to start with this. I'll start simply by congratulating you and the boys on an outstanding performance last week.
Yeah, it was one of those games where we knew we'd probably come out victorious on that. So, the challenge is always is how the kids are going to come out. And I thought we played, for the first two drives we came out hot and running, and then I think we got a little bit too comfortable and started getting a little sloppy. And that's what, as a head coach, drives me nuts, is that you want to be going and playing your best, but you also can't get kids to believe that a team's better than they are. And, last week we had to do a lot of begging our guys to do it. I think our guys saw last week as a chance to get healed up, which we did. But, we were able to get in and out and really caught fire right at before half, and then took that into third quarter, so that was good for us to see.
We obviously had an easy notice of this, and we did make note of it during the broadcast, but Coach Marinelli found his way up into the press box for the first time this year, and instead of staying on the field, and there obviously had to be some strategy behind that.
Well, I always kid around as a head coach, and since I call the plays on offense, I'd love to go up in the box because you can see everything that's happening. You don't have to wait till, the next series or something. You can see it live happening. And, Mark is the same way. He's always worried about going up there. But, what I told him, we have such good quality guys on the sideline that he can just, if he needs to talk to someone specifically, he can just get that headphone and pass on to kids. So, I didn't know if he would like it or not. We said, hey, this would be a game to go up there and try it. And, he loved it. He thought it was a great thing for the Grizzlies. He was able to see some things himself and make checks instead of sometimes, maybe another coach maybe sees something that, tells you something, but it really didn't happen. So he was able to be up there, collect his thoughts, and be able to write some things down and stuff that worked, something that came back to. So, I thought it worked good. So we're going to go forward with that plan. I think it was a good strategy for us to do.
And it's the first time that I can remember him going up into the press box.
Yeah, no, I've never had a coordinator be upstairs. So, it was different for every one of us. But, Coach Johnson took over the signal callers. Coach Johnson's our assistant head coach. And, those guys can handle it. It's a hand signal. And so it wasn't a big deal for us. Mark, instead of signaling, was telling someone else what to signal. And, I think it's a good strategy going forward for us.
And I know he was obviously a very happy camper when the game ended and there was still a goose egg on the board.
Yeah, it's fun to go in and have that opportunity to have a shutout, and you always want your young guys to go in and take pride in that, and those young guys did a great job, ended up forcing a fumble, and Phil Givens took it back to the house. So, to be able to end on that note's fun. It gives your young guys some quality time, and, because that's the thing as coaches, we want to shut out. Sometimes we look at stats maybe too much, and you want to get, some of your younger guys in, and it was good for us to be able to do that and be able to hold those guys and limit those guys on the possessions.
So now I'll go back to a statement made in this room by you in September, and that is, I want to be playing in November. Congratulations, you made it.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal around here, and sometimes it weighs heavy on you and the kids, but there's no qualms about us. If you've been around our program, there's no doubt that this goal in this high school is to be playing Thanksgiving weekend and win it. And so that's the expectations that we've put on ourselves. And people always ask me, Coach, why do you do that? Is because I'm a big believer that, the part of the high school sports is being able to teach kids to go attempt to reach something. And if you fail, you dust yourself off and you brush yourself off and you get back and attack it. And so, for me, the state of our program, where it is now, I don't see that going away in a long time here with the quality of kids that we got coming. So, we're in November. We got a tough opponent in Junction City coming to town. And, we start our journey really Friday night tonight.
And I've been asked during the week, and I can't answer the question either. I don't know anything about Junction City. Nobody seems to know anything. I know you do because I know you've done the research. What can we expect out of that team on Friday night?
Yeah, they remind me a lot of Capen, a Capen-esque team where they're going to be very physical on defense. And, there's no qualms about it. They're going to run the ball. They're very dynamic in what they do. Coach Zimmerman, has been coaching. I hope Coach Zimmerman doesn't ever watch this. I think Coach Zimmerman's been in this 25-year plus, 30 years plus as a head coach. And that Junction team won a state title in 2009 and has always been knocking on the board since. So, those kids are going to play hard. They're young like us. So it's a really good matchup for us. I'm just glad we're playing at home. And, they've had their starting quarterback is a dynamic kid, likes to run the ball. The offense runs through him. And it'll be interesting to see tonight how effective he is. He had a lower leg injury against Emporia in the second quarter, the week we were playing Manhattan, and then sat out last week when they played South. And going into the middle of about the fourth quarter, it was a 21-18 game with South. So, you can't really judge that. Were they doing enough just to get by, to get some guys healthy? Maybe. South played very well with those guys. And, it's just they seem to be limping in with some injuries, kind of like we were.
So we have Junction City tonight, and then there's a distinct possibility, if we're fortunate enough to win the game here tonight, that next week we're going to travel back to Manhattan for a potential rematch.
Well, I'm going to go on the record right now and say our brothers over at Wichita East, I think, match up very, very well with those guys. A lot of people ask me, and I felt like that night, the personnel we have with Caden Ross and some other guys playing defense, I don't think we matched up with Manhattan the first time we played them. But you flip and you go back and you watch our game against East. We had to spread East out and throw for 240 yards that night to kind of limit the box. And, East is going to stuff the run against Manhattan, and they're going to give Manhattan a tough game. That's going to be a tough thing because what East does well on offense is get people out in space, throw the ball around, and that's not Manhattan's strong suit. Manhattan's strong suit is to be able to run the ball and stop the run. And so, I wouldn't go ahead and chalk in and say that's going to be a bus trip to Manhattan by any means. But, that's what thing is. When we got into the playoffs, all focus is 1 week at a time. And we got to handle our business tonight against Junction, and we got to stay healthy because, as you know it, you got to stay healthy in November. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not healthy, you're not going to go far in this thing. And so, last week was good for us to get some injuries healed up. Caden Ross is going to be back in the lineup tonight. We're very happy to see him because Caden brings that emotion to our defensive. If there is a leader on that defensive side of the ball, Caden Ross does it by energy and demands perfection out of those guys. So it'd be really nice to have Caden back on that side of the ball. And, last week we held out LJ just to be precautionary, and it was always good to see Deuce get some action as a freshman. And, boy, he had a good night, and so did Sincere. So, I think LJ's ready to rumble tonight, and so, we're going to ride those guys tonight.
Okay, and wish you the best of luck tonight against Junction City, and we'll look forward to another visit with you 1 week from today before the state semifinal game, wherever it is.
Yep, thank you. Sounds good.
Head coach Steve Martin on the Toppers Plus pregame show, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Check out GoArmy.com for the recruiting office nearest to you. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout, and then we'll be back with more of the pregame show. Stay with us. This is Grizzly Football, sponsored by Mel Hambledon Ford.
Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium, Northwest and Junction City at the top of the hour on a rainy, cold, drizzly, and maybe later snowy night tonight in Wichita. But we've got round 2 of the Class 6A playoffs. Steve Strain and Kevin Arkin back at Grizzly Stadium as this is our Toppers Plus pregame show. And we continue on with tonight's starting lineups as we are about 12 minutes away from kickoff. Let's go ahead and run down the Grizzlies starting lineup first. Your starting lineup brought to you by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue at the corner of 21st and Tyler. Hog Wild, don't be late. They close at 8. Hog Wild, 21st and Tyler, big sponsors of Grizzly Athletics, and they bring you tonight's starting lineup. First, for Northwest, let's start on the line where Jacob Lamb and Braxton Hopper are the tackles. Lamb, 6'3", 230. He's a senior. Hopper, 5'10", 215, and a junior. Dalton Schrader and Alex Herrera, the guards. Schrader, 6'4", 275, a junior. Herrera, 6'2", 285, a senior. Nathan Davis is the center, 6 feet, 265. He is a junior. The receivers, a little bit of a change tonight. There is not going to be Chase Carter tonight. Jaleel Cooper will step in, 5'7", 130-pound junior. Takari Brown, 6'1", 160, and a junior. 4 touchdowns on the season for him. He'll get some action, as will Deuce Bohannon, back at receiver now, 5'6", 160, and a freshman. He is a receiver because Michael Lopez is still out, obviously, out for the rest of the season, and because L.J. Phillips is back in the lineup as the starting tailback for Northwest. What a year he's having. 115 carries and 1,090 yards, 17 touchdowns for the senior L.J. Phillips. Back at tailback, Sincere Thompson will get plenty of run as well, 5'10", 205. He's a junior. Jace Glasper, the starting quarterback for Northwest, 6'2", 170. He's a junior. 1,500-plus yards on the season, and how about the touchdown-to-interception ratio? 18 touchdowns, just 1 interception, and you have to go all the way back to the Bishop Carroll game, the first game of the season for that only pick of the year. There's your Grizzly offensive starters. Now here's Kevin with the Junction City defense.
And the Junction City defense features a 3-man front at nose tackle. Tymar Jones, a 6', 260-pound sophomore. The 2 ends, Hayden Perrier, 6'1", 225, a junior. Elijah Clark Boyd on the other side, 6'2", 240. He is a senior. The linebackers, Malachi Daniels, 5'10", 170, a junior. Larkin Turner, 6', 250, a sophomore. And then Cooper Bogenhagen, 5'10", 185, a junior. The cornerbacks, Don K. Williams, 5'5", 153-pound senior on one side. Jalen Morgan, 5'10", 170, a sophomore on the other. And the safeties, Atriel Baker, 6'1", 164. He's a senior. Michael Boganowski, a 6'3", 200-pound junior. And finally, Lavelle Autry, 5'8", 143-pound freshman, the only freshman in the starting lineup for the Junction City Blue Jays.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Now let's move over to the Northwest defense. Caden Ross back in the lineup tonight, tied for the team high in tackles, in sacks with 4. He will start at one defensive end. He's 6'1", 245, and a senior. Romello Golston starts on the other side. He is also tied with Ross with 4 sacks, and Golston having a great year, 6'2", 275. He's a junior. Trey Burt starts at the nose tackle, 6'2", 275. He's a junior. The linebackers, John Michael Fountain, 6'1", 200, freshman, and Philip Givens. Those two are on the outside. Givens is 6 feet, 215, and a junior in the middle. What a whale of a sophomore season he's having. Peyton Dean, 6 feet, 230, and a sophomore. He is second on the team with 48 tackles. The Harrises are the corners. Dontrell on one side, Jeremiah on the other. Dontrell Harris tied for the team lead with 2 interceptions. 3 Grizzlies tied with 2 picks. He and Trenton Salisbury and Ben Heidebrecht all have 2 picks on the year. Speaking of Salisbury, he's one of the 3 safeties, 5'11", 180, and a senior. And Jacob King is the nickel safety, 5'9", 185, and a senior. Ben Heidebrecht, I mentioned him, the other safety, tops on the team in tackles with 52 and tied for first with 2 interceptions. Heidebrecht having a great senior campaign, 5'11", 165. He's a senior. Those are your Grizzly starters on defense. Now here's Kevin with the offense for Junction City.
And the offense, as always, starts up front. It's the line play that's critical, and it will be again tonight for Junction City. At center, Petrin Bartolome, 5'11", 270-pound sophomore, playing both ways. The guards, Ryan McReath at 5'11", 225, a junior. And on the right side, DeQuasi Oscar, 5'8", 250-pound senior. The tackles on the left side, Bennett Underhill, 6'1", 285, a sophomore. And right side, Garrett McReath, 6'2", 275-pound senior. Your wideouts, Sheldon Butler Lawson, 6'3", 165-pound senior. Elijah Byers, 5'9", 160, a senior. And Rodney Coleman, 6 foot, 227-pound senior. The backs, the running back, Braden Smith, 5'5", 145, a senior. And 5'9", 185, senior Logan Nabus at fullback for Junction City. The quarterback, Xavier Felton, he is 6 foot, 215 pounds. He is a senior, and he's the one coming back off injury from last week. And, Steve, if there's any one common denominator to this offensive lineup, it's the number of seniors who are actually starting in this game tonight for Junction City.
Yeah, all of their skill position players, all of them seniors. Now, they've only got 2 on their offensive line, but you look at their fullback, their tailback, tight end, 2 receivers, and a quarterback, all seniors for Junction City. All right, once again, your starting lineups tonight brought to you by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue at the corner of 21st and Tyler. Bingo Brashears is the proprietor there. He's a good friend of ours, good friend of Northwest High School's athletic department. Stop by and see him, Hog Wild at the corner of 21st and Tyler. Tell him we sent you. Don't be late. They close at 8. All right, one more time out on our Toppers Plus pregame show. When we come back, we'll get the opening kickoff going after we hear from Kevin's keys to the game. So stay tuned for that as Grizzly football continues in a moment. Okay, welcome back to Grizzly Stadium. Steve Strain, Kevin Arkin with you as we are wrapping up our Toppers Plus pregame show, and the captains are about to take midfield to go through the pregame coin toss. We are also about to join our friends from ESPN Wichita 92.3, and once we do that, we will take a pause and then restart everybody and get all of us on the same page. But, Kevin, we talked about it before the game. Weather will definitely be a factor here this evening with this wind and the chill.
You mentioned earlier about the drizzly conditions here. Steve, I'm going to challenge that statement. This is not drizzle. It is pouring down rain out there and has been for the last hour. You look at the sidewalk right in front of us here, and it's just one huge puddle. You can see the rain coming down in the lights. Everybody here is all bundled up. The umbrellas, of course, are out. Everybody trying to find a way to keep whatever warmth there is left in with them, and of course the temperature hovering just under 40 degrees.
Yeah, hats off to our staff, our crew, camera crew up above the press box as Kevin was talking about the rain. They got a good shot of it, and you could see it right there in the lights. All right, the captains are out at midfield going through the coin toss. Steve Martin, who used to be notorious for deferring, has opted to take the football first each time he's had the opportunity. And we'll see who wins the coin toss right here. It looks like Northwest has, and so one would guess that the Grizzlies are going to get the football first, or I thought that was the indication. Let's see for sure. No, it was Junction City that won the toss, and they've deferred.
They gave it right to us.
Yeah, so the Grizzlies will get the football first.
And the Grizzlies will be playing into a 20-mile-an-hour wind in their face here in the first quarter, Steve. So not only do they have the rain to deal with, they also have a stiff breeze in their face.
Northwest will get the football first to get us started here tonight. All right, we're going to join our radio audience here momentarily, so stand by and we'll join ESPN Wichita and we'll sync everything up. Good evening and welcome to Grizzly Stadium on the campus of Northwest High School, where tonight ESPN Wichita and NWGrizz.TV brings you Northwest High School football tonight. From Northwest, on a cold and a rainy night, it's the Grizzlies of Northwest playing host to the Junction City Blue Jays in round 2 of the Class 6A playoffs on the western side of the bracket. Northwest is the number 4 seed, Junction City is the 5 seed, and Junction City won the toss and they have elected to kick off. They have deferred to put the ball into the hands of the high-powered Northwest offense. My name is Steve Strain. Kevin Arkin joining me here tonight, and it is only around 40 degrees right now, about an 18-mile-an-hour wind out of the north, and rain coming down. We might see snow later. Right now, we've got football, though. Northwest is in all blues. You normally don't see that, but I like the look. Blue jerseys, blue pants with gold numbers on those blue jerseys, blue and gold helmets. The Blue Jays of Junction City, as you would imagine, with road blue pants, white jerseys with blue numbers, and white helmets. We are underway. The kickoff is going to be a touchback into that wind from left to right. It goes through the end zone, so Northwest from our right to left into the wind. Again, it's about 20 miles an hour, and the Grizzlies will have the football first.
And you can look for the ground game to get started very quickly here for Northwest. They're not going to want to throw it into this wind.
Northwest, who has L.J. Phillips back in the fold at tailback. He took the week off last week and nursing an injury, but Northwest happy to have him back in there tonight. And that was him in motion from right to left. For those of you watching on YouTube, 1st and 10, Jace Glasper is going to take this zone read pitch. He's going to run it directly across the 20 and get knocked down at the 22-yard line, so only a 2-yard gain. Kevin, real quickly, keys to tonight's game.
Well, the key number 1 is very simple. It's turnovers. Neither team can afford the turnovers. For Northwest, they need to do what's best in their interest, and that is to keep the ball on the ground, maintain ball possession, and score at will. And they've been able to do that in almost every game this year. Junction City, on the other hand, they've got to do the flip side. They've got to find a way to stop the high-powered ground game of Northwest. They've got to force some turnovers, and when they force them, they've got to score points.
Northwest with a short running play. It's now 3rd and 4 from their own 26-yard line. Glasper is going to hand it off, and here's a hole, and here comes a running play across the 30 out to the 35-yard line. That will be a 4 points insurance first down for Sincere Thompson. The chains will move. The Grizzlies going with tempo quickly back to the line of scrimmage. We are scoreless 1 minute in. Northwest and Junction City. The winner gets number 1 Manhattan most likely next week. Hand off to Phillips. Bounces off of a tackle at the 35. He's off to the races down the near sideline to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. Dragging defenders with him all the way down to the 15-yard line. Move the chains. L.J. Phillips, a 4 points insurance first down.
A 50-yard run by L.J. Phillips in this rain and this muck, and he hung onto that ball for dear life.
And they need him to, because it is slippery out there like a wet bar of soap. First down, handoff, Sincere Thompson. He hits some defenders at the 10-yard line and will pick up about 5, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 5. Kevin's keys to tonight's game brought to you by Central Auto Repair and Electric, where you can leave your keys with them while they give you a ride to work. Also, a free multi-point inspection with any service performed. Central Auto Repair and Electric, 975 Northwest Street. On 2nd down and 5, pre-snap penalty, looks like motion, and so it probably will be 2nd and 10. Looks like the Grizzlies got off to a false start indeed.
Well, that'll take away the run by Thompson, take it back to a 2nd down and 10 situation.
So the Grizzlies back it up now to their own, to the Junction City 15-yard line, 2nd down and 10. 2 minutes into the game, opening drive of the game scoreless, but Northwest knocking on the door already. Shotgun formation for Jace Glasper. He's got L.J. Phillips behind him to his left, Sincere Thompson to his right. And on 2nd and 10, handoff Phillips, dancing around at the line of scrimmage, shifting, fighting, making his way to about the 12-yard line. That'll be 3 on the pickup and bring up 3rd down. These two teams actually have a few common opponents. We'll touch on that here momentarily. 3rd and 8 for the Grizzlies from the 13 of Junction City. Glasper, he's going to run the zone read around the left side. He's got room to the 10, fighting his way to the 5, to the 2, to the 1. Did he get in? No signal yet. Jace Glasper, touchdown Grizzlies. The late signal, but he got there, and Northwest has the lead 6-0.
Glasper barely made it in, and he carried 3 defenders into the end zone with him, but he found a hole on the left side of the offensive line and burst right through it. And he was back in the secondary before they ever knew what hit him.
Now it's Tyler Smalley on to attempt the extra point, which is on its way, and it is good. 9:23 to go first quarter. What weather? Grizzlies 7 and Junction City nothing. We're going to... Chiropractic. Susan Jensen does sports physicals for athletes all over the area for just $20. Jensen Chiropractic sponsors your opening kickoff.
And you know we're getting into winter sports season here very shortly, Steve. So all you people out there with athletes who are going to play in school and haven't gotten your physicals yet, here's a great opportunity for you to cash in, get it done, and get it done at a very reasonable price.
Well, even for you, Kevin, get your sports physical for $20 and Susan Jensen will take great care of you.
Oh, I'm sure she will, but I don't play a winter sport.
All right, and your game time conditions weather-wise, again, 41 degrees at kickoff and the wind at 18 miles an hour out of the north. Raining tonight at Grizzly Stadium, although it's lightened up some now to a sprinkle. All that brought to you by Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, where they do implants. They also treat patients of all ages, from kids all the way up to senior citizens, at the corner of Central and Woodchuck. Joaquin's Family Cosmetic Dentistry sponsors your game time weather conditions. 7-0 Grizzlies, and Northwest will now kick it off for the first time after a scoring drive that took a little over 2.5 minutes. And it looks like it's going to be a high short kickoff that is muffed. Ball bouncing around inside the 25-yard line. Who has fallen on it? And it looks like Junction City has. Boy, that was dangerous for the Blue Jays, Kevin.
It was dangerous, and again, the wet ball went right through the wickets and bounced around. I don't know how anybody from Junction City could fall on it. Northwest was all over it.
Yeah, there was like 1 or 2 guys in blue and white and a bunch of blue and maize for Northwest, but Junction City has it. 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. From our left to right, they will scrimmage here in the first quarter with that 18-mile-an-hour breeze behind them. 1st down and 10. They do not use, they are using the shotgun now, and the quarterback is Xavion Felton, and he's going to run a zone read, hand it off right up the middle. This is a big gain, right up the gut across the 30, 35, 40, 45-yard line. How about that to start play tonight, and a 1st down for Junction City. So a big gainer just like that. And Kevin, if I'm seeing this right, Michael Boganowski, who was listed as a starting safety, 11 is the starting quarterback indeed for Junction City. And what a run he's got here. Zone read around the left side to look out. 40 to the 30 to the 20, 15, all the way down to the 10-yard line. Well, we had Xavion Felton starting tonight, but Boganowski, who we had starting at safety, is the quarterback, and what a job he's done running the zone read.
He didn't waste any time either. He's picked up 55 yards on 2 carries here.
And just like that, Junction City is knocking on the door of answering Northwest's scoring drive to start the game. 8.5 to go first quarter, 7-0 Northwest. But it's 1st and 10 Junction City from the Grizzly 11. Boganowski is going to hand it off to Braden Smith, and there's not much doing here. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
He got a couple, but that was it.
That was Logan Nabis, I beg your pardon, the fullback. So 2nd down, they'll say he picked up 2. 4 minutes in, 7-0 Northwest leading. But Junction City, 2nd and 8 from the Northwest 9-yard line. Boganowski, shotgun, empty backfield. He's got 4 receivers, 2 of them to each side. Surveys the defense. And now he's got the shotgun snap. Actually, I beg your pardon, he's going to look over to the sideline first. Now back and surveys the defense. It looked like he called for the ball but didn't get it. Now he's got the snap, and he's going to run it straight ahead behind center, inside the 10, down to the 5, and knocked down to the 4-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 4, they'll say at the 5-yard line for Junction City.
Peyton Dean got in there on the tackle, Steve, but the offensive line of Junction City is doing a great job of blowing away the defensive line of Northwest so far.
3rd and 4 from the Grizzly 5-yard line. 7-0 Northwest. Junction City on the move. Shotgun for Boganowski. He's going to take the snap, trying to run left, and he's going to get thrown down behind the line. What a job by that Northwest defense. A loss on the play, and it's 4th down. Boy, the Grizzlies got back there in a hurry, Kevin.
They did.
I think John Michael Fount was the first. And it's 4th and 6 now from the 7, and the offense is staying on the field for Junction City. First big decision of the game, and it looks like the Blue Jays are going to go for it on 4th and 6 from the 7.
I think the Blue Jays recognize that field goals are not going to win here.
So Boganowski out of the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers, now one of them in motion, and he's got the snap rolling to the right, lobs to the end zone. Man, wide open, caught, touchdown. On 4th down, that's Noah Brown, who's listed as a backup fullback, lined up over near a slot, and nobody picked him up as he peeled off the right side of the line into the back of the end zone for a lazy rainbow pass that he caught at the back of the end zone.
He just lobbed it in there to him because there was nobody near him. So somebody missed an assignment there defensively.
Now the extra point is on its way, and it is good. 6:15 to go first quarter. We'll take the timeout. We are scored at 7. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium, where the fireworks have started for both teams. A 7-7 score we have here tonight. Each team with touchdowns on the ground. In fact, I don't think we've seen one pass yet in this game. Each team with touchdown drives, keeping it on the ground. And now Northwest will take this kickoff back, and it's a good return all the way out across the 30-yard line for the return man for Northwest, Deuce Bohannon, giving the Grizzlies pretty good starting field position, 1st and 10 from their own 33. But it's a 7-7 score, 6:07 to go, first quarter.
And it's obvious the Grizzlies are going to need to keep the pressure on here and keep the ball moving.
And perhaps they were as surprised as we were at the new quarterback, and Junction City made it look easy going down the field. Shotgun here, 1st and 10. And it's going to be Glasper handing it off around the left side. This is Sincere Thompson out to the 40, but a flag has been thrown in behind him. So let's check that.
That's going to come back.
There would be a 7-yard pickup, but again, that's pending a penalty flag. That was actually a towel. The Grizzlies, some of them have yellow towels.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that was a towel.
Looked just like a flag. I was with you there. 2nd down then and 3 for Northwest after a 7-yard pickup for Sincere Thompson. Running backs to either side of Glasper, the quarterback. He's going to hand it off to Thompson again, coming left. He's got the first down across the 45, out to the 48-yard line. There's a 4 points insurance first down after a 7-yard pickup.
Basically ran the same play twice, had Thompson running up the left side, and he had plenty of room to get 5-6 yards each time.
2 yards from the Grizzlies being in plus territory already. 1st and 10 here. This is going to be a handoff. Phillips up the middle. He's got room. Bounces off of a tackle. He's off to the races. To the 30. To the 20. Phillips to the 10. Phillips to the 5. Phillips to the house. 51 yards. Just like that. It's 13-7. Northwest with the lead.
Well, that didn't take long. 3 whole plays to move the length of the field here, Steve. And L.J. Phillips has had plenty of running room. Nobody touched him.
So Sincere Thompson with the first 2 carries, setting up Phillips for the 51-yard score, and the Grizzlies have scored their second touchdown of the game already, and Tyler Smalley has just punched through his second extra point. 5.5 to go, first quarter. Northwest 14, Junction City 7. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Fourteen to 7, Northwest with the lead, and the Grizzlies already kicking off for the second time tonight, and another high short kickoff that is going to be returned and not muffed this time by Junction City. And the Blue Jays are going to get good starting field position across the 35-40 all the way out to about the 43-yard line is the return man. That's Trent Crumpton, who's on special teams. He's a backup receiver, but a good job on the return there. As Junction City will have it first and 10, they'll say their own 42-yard line, but that's great starting field position, Kevin.
It is. Being near midfield with the wind at your back on a rainy night, you couldn't ask for a better recipe to score big points here.
14 to 7, Northwest has the lead. 5:25 to go first quarter. A lot of fireworks, all of them on the ground so far. We've not seen much in the passing game at all except for that touchdown. I said earlier there were no passes in this game so far, but the touchdown was for Junction City, but every other play has been on the ground for each team. First and 10 here, and this is going to be a running play. Boganowski coming left, and he's going to get dropped for a loss. Grizzlies make some adjustments on that zone read, and Boganowski loses a yard. It's 2nd and 11.
Good credit Trey Birch for getting into the backfield and getting to the runner before he can get back to the line.
So second down, 11 from their own 42-yard line. Clock is moving. Exactly 5 minutes to go, first quarter. 14 to 7, Northwest has the lead. See if the Grizzlies can stiffen up here with this great starting field position for Junction City. Boganowski's out of the gun. He's got 3 receivers to the near side. He'll fake a handoff and then run left, and he'll cross the line of scrimmage, but that's about all. He goes back inside the original line of scrimmage, but the Grizzlies read that zone read well again. On all of a sudden, it's 3rd and long.
And Trey Birch again leading the way on the tackle.
Trey Birch sliding back into the nose tackle position tonight. He's played some defensive end, but nice job there on the stop. They'll say 3rd and 10, so only back was Boganowski to the original line of scrimmage. Now a passing situation here. He'll send out 3 receivers. Slots on the right, and it's going to be Boganowski. Play action, dumps one down the left side. Has a man there, but it's overthrown and incomplete. Good coverage by Ben Heidebrecht, and the Grizzly defense stiffens a 3 and out, and Junction City will have to punt it away.
Great job by the defense that time, coming back after giving up the touchdown in the first possession.
So Northwest watched Junction City start that drive from their own 42-yard line, and they picked up maybe a yard, and now the Grizzlies to get it back. Although special teams returns on punts have been an issue from Northwest. Won't have to worry about this here. This is a shank that's going to bounce out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. 24-yard punt is all, and no return. That's a bad break for Junction City, Kevin. A stiff breeze behind the Blue Jays, and they couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, went off the side of his foot, a wet football. You know, this is going to happen in this kind of a situation, and bingo. Good position for the Grizzlies, and that'll offset some of the wind.
Just under 4 minutes to go. First quarter, Grizzlies with the football up 14 to 7. Jace Glasper out of the gun. Sincere Thompson to his right. Phillips is to his left. One receiver out to the far side. One to the near. This is going to be a handoff. Phillips spinning off of a tackle at the 30, across the 35, all the way out to the 41-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 8 and bring up second down. Sincere Thompson on that carry. I beg your pardon.
And Sincere Thompson bounced off of a defender, did a spin move, and picked up 8 yards.
Second down and 2 for Northwest. Glasper out of the gun. This time Thompson lines up as a receiver out on the far side. There are 3 receivers out there. Phillips is the lone setback as Glasper's got the shotgun snap. Handed off on the inside to Phillips. He's going to squirt to the outside. How did he break through a couple of tackles and gain positive yardage across the 45? Now a flag was thrown when LJ tried to turn the edge, but there were no blockers out there, so maybe a face mask. We'll see. Official at the 38-yard line says block in the back on the Grizzlies. So it must have been somebody that was well away from the football, because LJ was trying to advance that all on his own, Kevin.
He was all by himself on this side. Everybody else had gone to the right. And, yeah, 10-yard penalty. Now it's going to make it 2nd and 13.
So it'll put the Grizzlies back at their own 30-yard line into the wind, moving from our right to left. Glasper, shotgun. And he's going to hand it off on the inside again. Not much doing there. Well defended by Junction City on the Sincere Thompson running play. And that'll bring up third down and long. Cooper Bogenhagen, junior linebacker, in on the stop.
Good job by Bogenhagen to get to Thompson. He gained nothing on the play, and it's going to be 3rd and long here.
13 the Grizzlies need from their own 30. Glasper, straight drop, out of the gun, flushed out, throws, off balance, dangerous throw, and it's picked off. It's picked off by Boganowski. We mentioned that starting quarterback is playing safety as well, and that was an ill-advised pass for Jace Glasper, and it's intercepted by Junction City and returned to the Grizzly 43-yard line.
And that's only the 2nd pick of the year that Glasper has thrown, but as you said, he should never have thrown the ball, because there was no chance of getting it completed.
Yeah, his only other interception was all the way back in week 1 against Bishop Carroll, and that was a deflected pass. So maybe the decision on that one wasn't even bad, but this one was his worst decision of the season. Backpedaling straight back, just heaved one up in a prayer, and there was nobody home except blue and white. And Junction City has the interception, 1st and 10 from the Grizzly 43-yard line. 14-7 Northwest with the lead. Late first quarter, Boganowski play action back. Down he goes in the backfield, all the way back at the 47-yard line. Great job defensively for Northwest, and they get the sack. It'll be 2nd and long. Caden Ross just picked up his 5th sack of the season. Welcome back to the lineup, Caden. He's now all alone in the lead in that department with 5.
Good job by Ross. Force the ball back, put him in a 2nd and long situation, especially with such good field position.
2nd and 13 for Junction City. Call it 14, a loss of 4 on the play. Clock is moving as we approach the 2-minute mark left in the first quarter. 14-7, Northwest with the lead. Boganowski shotgun 3 receivers, slots on the left. Now he's going to try to run to the left, and he's going to get stacked up as he crosses the line of scrimmage. He might have picked up a yard. That's all. It'll be 3rd and very long for Junction City.
And a yard is all he got. The entire defensive front line was there to meet him.
Tell you what, after that first drive where Junction City made it look easy, the Grizzlies have really responded. Now a new quarterback is in for Junction City, or at least there was. Now they're getting Brock Bazin into the game, so we still have not seen Xavier Felton. We were told he was healthy, but we've not seen him yet. This is the number 2 quarterback, Brock Bazin, who's going to run a play action on 3rd and 13. Deep post across the middle, pass incomplete.
Bazin played quarterback last week in the game against Wichita South because of the injury to Felton. I don't know, maybe Felton got hurt during warm-up or something else has happened, but he has not yet made an appearance.
In the meantime, another 3 and out for the offense of Junction City. So after Junction City had their opening drive made look easy as they went right down the field, they've had 2 3 and out since. And now they're going to punt it away, and this one is going to hit the pylon right at the goal line. What a big break for Northwest on a great try by Andreas Smith, the punter.
He almost pulled a Ray Guy there, God rest his soul, and knocked it out of bounds at the 1, which would have been horrible field position, obviously, for Northwest. And as a result of it hitting the pylon, we get a touchback out of it.
So into about a 20-mile-an-hour wind, Northwest has still outscored Junction City 14-7, and in 68 seconds of game time, the Grizzlies are going to have that 20-mile-an-hour or thereabouts wind at their back. 1st and 10 here from their own 20-yard line. Jace Glasper's going to hand it off, running play right up the middle. Nope, Glasper's going to run around the left side. He's across the 20 to the 25, still on his feet all the way out to the 30. Boy, he's been watching L.J. Phillips. We saw him drag defenders across the goal line. There we saw him drag him for a 10-yard, 11-yard gain.
And a first down for the Grizzlies. Nice play by Jace Glasper, using his strength to carry 3 guys with him.
4 Points Insurance sponsors your Grizzly first downs. 946-0721 at 946-0721. 1st and 10 Northwest. Handoff up the middle. Look out. There's LJ again across the 40, across the 45, all the way out to the 49-yard line of Junction City. A gain of 21, and the chains will move again. Well, they'll spot it back at the 50, so exactly a 20-yard carry for Phillips. What a night he's having, though. 1st and 10 Northwest, right at midfield from our right to left. 30 seconds to go, first quarter. Grizzlies on top 14-7. Inside handoff coming left. This is going to be Phillips again, and he lowers his shoulder and gets knocked out of bounds. Thompson, on the carry, a gain of 5 yards.
I'll take 5 yards on every run for the rest of the night.
Steve Martin absolutely will, too. 2nd down and 5 here. All kinds of things you can do with this one. Might be the last play of the first quarter. Thompson is the lone setback. L.J. Phillips lined up near the tight end position. This will be a snap to Glasper. He's going to run it himself. He breaks out of tackles. He's free for a little bit inside the 35. Thrown down at the 31. A gain of 14. And the chains will move again. Another 4 Points Insurance first down. Also, that might well be the last play of the first quarter. Let's see. Glasper now wants to run to the line of scrimmage and get another one off with 6 and with 5. Here's the snap on 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle, and there goes L.J. Phillips inside the 25, inside the 20, and he falls forward at the 13. Thompson, Now that'll be the end of the first quarter, but the Grizzlies have a 7-point lead on the move and looking for more. 1 quarter in the books from Grizzly Stadium. The Class 6A playoffs, number 4 Northwest 14, number 5 Junction City 7. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford.
I thought that was really smart for them.
City answered, but the Grizzlies have scored one since, and they're on the move looking for more. 14-7, Northwest with the lead as we start quarter number 2, and Jace Glasper is going to hand this one off, and this is going to be a running play that's going nowhere. Flag thrown in behind the running back L.J. Phillips as well. In the area of a hold, Phillips was dropped for a loss back at the 20-yard line, as it is a 2-yard loss, but here's the call, holding indeed. That's going to be a big loss for Northwest, Kevin, because it's a spot foul, which I think occurred behind the line of scrimmage to begin with.
I think, yes, it's going to cost him 10 yards or more. It moves it all the way back out to the 30, Steve, so it's a 12-yard penalty in essence.
Grizzlies need the 9-yard line for a first down. They're at just inside the 30. First down and 20. Glasper, he's going to take the snap and roll out to the right. Nowhere to pitch it on the option, so we'll tuck it under and run. And make his way to about the 25-yard line and pick up about 4. Second down.
And under normal circumstances, 4 would be great, but with it being second and very long here, more than 4 yards is going to be necessary.
Grizzlies do have a nice breeze behind them now for the second quarter on second down and 17. Glasper, and he's going to hand it off, running play off to the left side, and the ball's on the turf. It's being kicked around. There's a scramble for it all the way out at the 35-yard line, and it looks like Junction City is falling on the football.
Sincere Thompson ran into a pile, coughed it up. A wet football. It is still raining, so everything is still soaking wet out there, and it's, you got a slimy football, and got to hang on to it. And that's the second turnover of the night for Northwest.
Grizzlies were plus 14 in the turnover department on the season coming into play tonight, but that's already 2 turnovers for Northwest. They've got one of each variety, too. An interception by Jace Glasper, and there is Sincere Thompson fumble. So 1st and 10 for Junction City from their own 36-yard line. Shotgun formation. Blue Jays will send out 3. And it's going to be a running play right up the middle. And this is going to be a big hole and a broken tackle. And off to the races go the Blue Jays. This is Braden Smith. He's going to go to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Junction City. And just like that, we're an extra point away from being tied.
64-yard run, excuse me. Once he got through the line, there was nobody in the secondary to catch him.
Well, Junction City could not capitalize on the first turnover they forced, but they do here and do so in a hurry. Now the extra point, which would tie this score up, is on its way. This is Alden Field. And he boots it through. 10:55 to go, second quarter. We're deadlocked. Northwest 14, Junction City 14. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium. We've got a good one, as we thought we might. Early second quarter, Northwest 14, Junction City 14, as the Blue Jays, the visitors, have just capitalized on a Northwest turnover and now kicking it off to the Grizzlies. A high short kick. They're trying that Braden Sauter short kickoff, but it backfires and trickles out of bounds.
And that'll give the Grizzlies good field position at the 35.
10:55 to go, second quarter. Northwest 14, Junction City 14. 2 turnovers for Northwest. Their most recent was costly, a fumble by Sincere Thompson. And a few plays later, Junction City takes it to the house for a score.
And we're at the point in the season, Steve, when you can't have turnovers and expect to advance in the playoffs.
1st and 10 for Northwest from their own 35-yard line. Yeah, earlier in the season, Thompson had 2 fumbles in the same game. I think it was against Topeka. That did not hurt them, obviously, that night. But when you get into November, it's a different story many times.
It is.
1st and 10 for the Grizzlies from their own 35. Glasper is going to run a zone read. Thought he handed it off, but he kept it himself. I think Junction City thought he handed it off, and Glasper across the 35 out to the 38. They'll end up picking up about 3 yards on the play.
He's lucky to have gotten the 3.
Both running backs in the backfield for Northwest. Thompson is to Glasper's right. L.J. Phillips is to his left on second down and 8. One receiver set to each side. This is going to be Phillips on the inside handoff. Look out, he's got some room. And then he's upended at about the 43-yard line. And how about Boganowski already making his name heard on both sides of the football? An interception and a tackle. He ran the zone read great when he started at quarterback. Phillips picked up about 5, though. It's 3rd down and 2. And the Grizzlies jump, or did Junction City get into the neutral zone? Nope, it's on Northwest, a flag. It's coming back 5. That's going to erase everything LJ just did, Kevin, practically.
It is, and it's the second false start of the night for Northwest.
3rd and now 7 for the Grizzlies. Back at their own 39-yard line. Glasper is going to hand it off anyway, right up the middle. Running play up the gut across the 40 to the 43. Goes the ball carrier, Sincere Thompson, and it's going to be 4th down and about 3. And it looks like Jace Glasper is going to drop back into punt formation for Northwest. Nobody back deep for Junction City. They'll let Jace just get this one away. He does. It's a twisting kick that's going to take a good Grizzly bounce inside the 20, inside the 15, rolling all the way down to the 10, and it's going to get dropped dead at about the 9-yard line. How about that?
Great punt by Jace Glasper. That's probably his best punt of the year.
48 yards and no return, down at the 10-yard line of Junction City. 9:25 to go second quarter. We are tied at 14. But Junction City now with the football. Grizzlies scored on the opening drive of the game, kicked off to Junction City. They did the same on their first drive of the game. Two teams have traded touchdowns since, and we're early second quarter, tied at 14. 1st and 10 for Junction City. Question will always be now, who do the Blue Jays bring out to play at quarterback? We've already seen a few different ones here tonight. And on 1st down and 10, it's going to be a direct snap and a running play out to the right. I think this is the Wildcat, and they're going to take that running back, Braden Smith, who had the touchdown earlier, and he's going to get the direct snap but go nowhere.
He'll lose a yard on it, Steve.
2nd down and 11. That's exactly right. It was a loss of a yard, actually. A bit of a makeshift situation due to the injury to Xavier Felton at quarterback for Junction City. 2nd down and 11. Clock running under 9 minutes to go second quarter. We're tied at 14. Junction City with a football deep in their own territory at their own 9-yard line. This time it's Logan Nabus at quarterback. He's their starting fullback, and he's going to run a play action. Or I beg your pardon, Bazin's back into the game. He's going to drop back, play action, throws deep down the far side, but it's incomplete. Good coverage down the far side, and Bazin's throw falls to the turf harmlessly, and it's 3rd down and long.
Let's hold them here, Steve. Force them to punt into a 20-mile-an-hour wind into the rain.
If the Grizzlies, you're right, can hold right here, they should get great field position coming back the other way. Not to mention the fact that it looks like Junction City is going to have to throw here into this wind unless they opt to run it, but they need 11 yards, 3rd and 11 from their own 9. Shotgun for Bazin, receiver in motion. He's got the low snap. They're going to run a reverse. Ball carrier's back in the end zone, and down he goes. The Grizzlies record a safety. What a bizarre place to call a reverse, Kevin. Back at your own end of the field, and it backfires big time for Junction City.
I'll be honest with you, I thought that was a busted play. But maybe it was by design that they were doing that. But either way, it's 2 points and the lead for Northwest, and we're going to get the ball.
So it's 16-14. Northwest has the lead. Yeah, I think that Bazin tossed it to a receiver on an end around, and then he flipped it back to another one coming the other way. But the Grizzlies just weren't fooled by it. And the back was dropped in the end zone for a safety. So a defensive score for Northwest, and they lead 16-14.
I think Junction City tried a little too much razzle-dazzle there.
Well, back at your own 9-yard line. That's the surprising part on 3rd and 11. Normally you see teams, if anything, go a little conservative right there, trying to avoid exactly what we just saw. Instead, they did try some razzle-dazzle, it appears, and it certainly backfired. So Northwest will now get the football, leading 16-14 with 8.5 to go, second quarter. Deuce Bohannon standing right at the Grizzly 40-yard line. to return this kick, but it's going to be a high and really short kick. Somebody better fall on it, and they do in plus territory, though, for Northwest at the 47 of Junction City. Well, you could see that ball hit the wall, too, into that 20-mile-an-hour wind, Kevin.
Wind just stopped it. It fell straight down. And fortunately, the special teams unit was wise to the fact that they needed to fall on it.
How about this starting field position for the Grizzlies from the 47-yard line of Junction City? 8.5 to go. First half, Grizzlies leading 16-14, and they've got first down and 10 here. Jace Glasper's going to run the option. He's going to keep it. Good decision. He's inside the 40. Oh, is he hit hard, and he stays on his feet. He's inside the 35, inside the 30, all the way down to the 28-yard line. And Kevin, the player who hit Jace Glasper, is the one that's on the turf hurt. Jace bounced off of it, somehow stayed on his feet to pick up the first down.
Yeah, and the defender, yes, it was a tremendous collision. I don't know how Jace Glasper didn't go down.
He got knocked backwards, Glasper did, but stayed on his feet in doing so. And the player who hit him is who's hurt, and hopefully he's all right. He's still sitting on the turf with the training staff there trying to get up. We're going to take a timeout. 8:21 to go, second quarter. Northwest 16, Junction City 14. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. It is Malachi Daniels, the junior linebacker, who is still down on the turf for Junction City, and we certainly hope he's okay. Again, he's the one that hit Jace Glasper, but it was Daniels that fell down to the turf. Glasper bounced off of it, looked a little disoriented, did Jace even, Kevin. He ran about 2 yards backwards, then regained his composure and ended up picking up a 4 points first down.
I don't think he was disoriented. I think he just lost his balance from the severity of the hit. The two of them just absolutely collided like a car going 80 miles an hour into a brick wall. That's the way they hit. Now Daniels is sitting up, which is a good thing.
Now getting up with the help of the training staff. So that's certainly good to see. Hey, we want to throw a shout out to our friends at one of our sponsors, Tranquility Physical Therapy. And they actually are looking for help. You can give them a call, 773-0909, 773-0909. If you or know somebody who is looking for a job as a licensed physical therapist or an assistant, Tranquility Physical Therapy is the place to call, 773-0909. They certainly can put you to work if you've got the qualifications, 773-0909, Tranquility Physical Therapy. First and 10 for the Grizzlies. Back to the action on Northwest at the 29-yard line. Direct snap to Sincere Thompson, but it's going to go nowhere. Junction City wasn't fooled on that play. No gain. It'll be second down. Larkin Turner, sophomore linebacker, in to help on the stop. They will say that Thompson's forward progress netted him a yard to the 28-yard line.
But you're right. Junction City was not fooled at all by that Wildcat play.
Second down and 9. For the Grizzlies. Glasper out of the gun. He's going to take the shotgun snap, and he's going to hand it off to L.J. Phillips coming left. Junction City, Kevin, doing a better job on the run. L.J. still picked up a few, but it'll be 3rd and 5.
He got 5 yards on the carry, Steve, but as you said, the Junction City defense has stiffened up to our two runners.
3rd and 5, Glasper shotgun. 2 receivers to the near side, running back to either side of Jace as he looks over to Steve Martin for the play. 16-14, Northwest with a lead midway through the second quarter. Glasper, inside handoff. And this one is going to be a running play. Tripped up is L.J. Phillips right near the line of scrimmage, maybe falling forward for a couple of yards. He will to the 22-yard line. It'll be 4th down. No hesitation by the Grizzlies, though. They're going to go for it. 4th and 3. Glasper shotgun from the Junction City 22-yard line. 16-14 Northwest with the lead. 6:45 to go second quarter. Glasper with Phillips behind him. Sincere Thompson as well.
Look for a hard count here.
Phillips to the left, Thompson to the right. Handoff up the middle. Thompson, big hole, and he breaks through a tackle inside the 15. Falling forward down to the 11. Move the chains. There's a gain of 11 and a 4-point insurance first down.
Beautiful play, beautiful handoff by Jace Glasper to Thompson, and Thompson just slithered through the defensive line and off to the races, picked up 12 yards.
Grizzlies knocking on the door of another score. Glasper shotgun, hands it off. Phillips to the 10, bouncing off a tackle to the 5, toward the 1-yard line where he falls over. They'll say the 2. He picked up about 9. Northwest can actually get a first down without scoring. It's 2nd down and a yard from the 2. On top right now by 2, looking to add to that lead. 5:50 to go, second quarter. Glasper, shotgun. Thompson is the running back. Thompson, the handoff. Thompson hit at the line of scrimmage, bouncing off a tackle to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Sincere Thompson with his first score of the night, and it's 22-14. Grizzlies with the lead.
Tyler Smalley will go for the extra point here to make this a 9-point transaction after the safety.
So the Grizzlies have the kick on its way, and it is through. 5:43 to go, second quarter. The new score, Northwest 23, Junction City 14. This is Grizzly football presented by Mill Hamilton Ford. Grizzlies have now gone up by 9 points here, their largest lead of the night, as they kick it off to the Blue Jays into that win. The pass is going to be, or the kick is going to be muffed at the goal line and then picked up by Junction City, and they're going to get a pretty good return across the 25 out to the 30-yard line. And that's where Manhattan will set up at the 32. Kevin with a score from Manhattan. Bit of a shocker. Manhattan 17, East 6. That game is in the second quarter.
Well, I'm not sure that's much of a shocker, but...
Well, I think East has stayed in it a little bit better than some might have
They're
thought.
hanging in there. They are hanging in there. Of course, we don't know if the weather up there is any better than it is here.
South gave this Junction City a tight game for a while before the Blue Jays pulled away in the second half. 1st and 10, speaking of Junction City, from their own 33-yard line, they start this drive. They'll send out 3 receivers, a direct snap back to the quarterback, who's going to run it around the right side with a lot of room. 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, still in bounds, steps out of a tackle at the 35, and he is going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Junction City. And that was the safety who started at quarterback, Michael Boganowski, who was back in at quarterback.
67 yards, one play.
They've gone back and forth with their quarterback, so it took a while to figure out who they were going with there. And Boganowski, who engineered a great first drive, does it there. they might be well served not to get away from him any longer. The extra point is no good. But with 5:19 left in the second quarter, it's a field goal difference. Northwest 23, Junction City 20. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hamilton Ford. Field to kick it off for Junction City, as just when you thought Northwest might start to be able to pull away, the Blue Jays get a quick touchdown. It's 23-20, Northwest with the lead. Field's kickoff is high and short again, and it's fair caught by the Grizzlies out at the 33-yard line of Northwest. 5:19 left, second quarter. Northwest 23, Junction City 20, and the Grizzlies have the ball 1st and 10 with that stiff breeze behind them, moving from our left to right.
And just to give you an update on the weather, Steve, the rain has stopped now, or all but stopped. So very windy still, out of the north, 20 miles an hour.
1st and 10 Grizzlies. Glasper toss right, Phillips across the 35, stiff arm at the 40, across the 45, and out of bounds near midfield. That'll move the chains. There's a 4 points insurance, first down.
Nice run by L.J. Phillips, picks up 18 yards and gets it out to midfield for great field position.
4 points insurance sponsors all Grizzly first downs. 946-0721. 946-0721. 1st and 10 Grizzlies. It's about time to get your Medicare plan year set out for 2023. 4 points will do that. 946-0721. 1st and 10. Glasper hands it off. Sincere Thompson up the middle. Big hole. 45. Tripped up at the 44-yard line. But that'll be about a 9-yard gain for Sincere Thompson on first down. Grizzlies will take that all day long.
Absolutely.
2nd down and a yard.
Good run by Thompson. And good blocking up front. Let's give credit to that line.
2nd and 1, Glasper. Thompson to his right. Sincere is there, and L.J. Phillips is to the left. Now Phillips goes in motion and is standing behind right guard. Expect a run right. It is. Thompson is behind right guard, behind Phillips, inside the 40, down to the 36-yard line. An 8-yard pickup, move the chains. Another 4 points, first down.
And the clock moving toward halftime now with 4.5 to go. Steve, Grizzlies need to take advantage of this win while they've got it.
Wind at about 18 miles an hour. Your game time conditions brought to you by Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry. 1st and 10, handoff Phillips up the middle, shaking, baking, dancing. That's Sincere Thompson, shifting inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. That's about a 7-yard pickup. We misidentify the running backs often because the Grizzlies move so fast, and if you look away to check the scoreboard or your chart, then sometimes those backs have shifted positions, and sometimes you miss who is standing where when they actually get the ball handed to them. So I beg your pardon for some of the missed calls. Phillips is up behind right guard right now. He's going to hand it off to Thompson up the middle. Sincere is going to bounce off to the left. Boy, I thought he was dead to rights at the line of scrimmage. Bounced off to the left. He's all the way out to the 21-yard line. How did he stay on his feet?
That's what I want to know. He was down, in quotes, at the 24, and then all of a sudden he's moving laterally with 3 guys chasing him.
4 points, first down for the Grizzlies. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line of Junction City. Northwest with the lead, 23-20 on the move. 3:20 to go, second quarter. Glasper, he's going to toss right side. Phillips started right, then back up the middle, trips out of a tackle at the 15, falling forward to the 10, and that's close to, and I think he picked up another 4 points first down. Grizzlies getting some awfully big chunks on the ground, Kevin.
They are indeed, and they did just move the sticks.
And it's first down and 10 from just outside the 10 at about the 12.
They're averaging 11 yards a carry on this drive.
Glasper, handoff up the middle. There's a good running play. Big hole to the 5 goes the ball carrier. And that's a nice gain for Northwest. I think that was Phillips again. Second down. It was. Second down. Phillips picked up 4, so 6 yards needed. Grizzlies might be well served to slow things down a little bit. Still 2.5 to go in the second quarter, and they will. Now they'll look over to Steve Martin for the play. Don't want to leave Junction City too much time when they get the football back. 2nd and 5. Glasper, he's going to take the direct snap, run right around tackle, and then he's going to get sacked up at the 2, slips out of that to the 1, falling forward to the goal line. Touchdown Grizzlies. The second time tonight, Jace Glasper has carried defenders across the goal line. It's 29-20, Northwest with the lead.
Give all the credit in the world to Jace Glasper, also to the offensive line, because they gave him the opportunity to run with players on his back. They moved the rest of the line back.
He's been watching those big, strong backs, Phillips and Sincere Thompson, do it all year long, and he decided to join the fray. Jace putting guys on his back and carrying them across the goal line. The extra point was good. A flag came flying through late, I believe, or was that another towel?
I think it was a towel.
Actually,
Nope,
it's a dead
no.
ball, personal foul on Northwest. We'll take care of that after the kickoff. 2:16 to go, second quarter. Grizzlies 30, Junction City 20. This is Grizzly football, presented by Mel Hambelton Ford. To 20, Grizzlies have the lead. An update from Manhattan. They've added on another field goal. 20-6, Manhattan over East. 42 seconds left second quarter. The winner of that game plays the winner of this one. Manhattan up by 2 touchdowns late first half. Grizzlies kicking it off here, leading by 10 late first half, and this is going to be a return for Manhattan out to the 32-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Junction City Blue Jays from their own 31. 2:09 to go, second quarter. Northwest 30, Junction City 20.
And that's a lot of time left, Steve, so the Grizzlies defense is going to need to step it up here.
Stay tuned for our halftime show brought to you by the United States Navy, where we'll hear from Lisa Hamilton from our presenting sponsor, Mel Hambelton Ford. Here we go, 1st and 10, Junction City. Our own 32-yard line. Moving from our right to left in their white jerseys and blue pants and white helmets as well. Junction City will use a shotgun formation for Michael Boganowski, who's going to take the snap and hand it off this time. Running play to the right. Not much doing. Maybe a gain of a yard. Grizzlies read the run well. It's second down. Clock is moving under 150 left now in the first half. Both teams have all 3 timeouts left. That was Logan Nabus on the carry, by the way, listed as the fullback for Junction City. In the meantime, Boganowski taking his sweet time here to get this snap off on 2nd down and 9. They definitely don't want to leave Northwest with any time left. no matter if they score or not on this drive. Boganowski has the snap around the left side. He's got some room across the 35 out near the 40-yard line, and that'll move the chains. There's a Junction City first down. You know what this reminds me of, Kevin, is week 1 against Bishop Carroll when their running game with their quarterback was very effective.
It was very effective, and we could not stop it.
It's kind of what happens when Boganowski's in the game.
They've obviously come up with a combination, and I know that Coach Marinelli will be trying to make an adjustment at halftime to negate that.
He stepped out of bounds at the Junction City 40, so 3rd and 2. Boganowski. He's going to keep it on the zone read, falling forward. He's got the first down up to the 43-yard line. He needed about 2, and he picked up 3, and the chains will move. Clock is running, 1:16 to go, second quarter. 30-20, Northwest with the lead. Junction City trying to mount a late score here in the first half. A lot of shifting in and out for Junction City's offense. In the meantime, Boganowski's going to drop back out of the gun. The fullback is to his left. That's Logan Nabus. And it's going to be a handoff to Nabus coming right. Steps out of a tackle at the 41 and then shoved backwards, and down he goes. They'll end up losing several on the play. Philip Gibbons in on the stop for a loss all the way back to the 40. That's a 4-yard loss. That is a big play now, Kevin.
That is a big play indeed, putting them into second and long with 35 seconds to go.
And it looks like Junction City, Kevin, is content to just run this thing out because they're not using their timeouts. They're standing, staring at the sidelines. Game clock is down to 23 and running, and Junction City, I thought, might try to mount a late score, but if they do, they're going to have to do it in a hurry here because there are just 13 seconds left in the second quarter, and they finally snap the ball, and when they do, a flag comes flying in.
False start is going to be called here.
That will move it back 5, and the clock is stopped right now with 10 seconds left in the second quarter. Now it's going to start running again.
They don't even have to run a play.
And they will run it. Kind of makes you wonder why. It's going to be a running play around the right side. Back's got room, 45-50 into Grizzly territory as the horn sounds at the 45-yard line, but that's how the first half will end. It's kind of a dangerous play, though. If you're content to run it, Kevin, what if you fumble?
Exactly. I would not have snapped the ball there.
But it was an interesting and competitive first half for sure, as Northwest and Junction City put up a combined 50 points in the first half. With the score, Northwest 30, Junction City 20. Now stay tuned for our United States Navy halftime show. You're listening to Grizzly Football, presented by Mel Hambelton Ford.
'82, '84, '86, '89, '98, 117. $35, $40, $51, $56, $77, $128. Wow, $178, 82.
Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium. Steve Strain, Kevin Arkin, and welcome into our halftime show of Grizzly football, which is brought to you by the United States Navy. The score in this Class 6A matchup on the Western bracket has number 4 Northwest 30 and number 5 seed Junction City's Blue Jays 20. The Grizzlies jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead on their first drive of the game. Junction City won the opening coin toss, elected to defer, so they will get the football to start the second half. But the Grizzlies took the kickoff, took it right down, got a quick score. But then Junction City, after the ensuing kickoff, did the exact same thing, as they have had to shuffle in different quarterbacks due to an injury to their normal starter, Xavier Felton. And it was Michael Boganowski who started at quarterback for Junction City, ran the zone read very well. Northwest was able to be confused enough by Junction City's offense that Junction City marched right down and got a quick answer, and it was 7-7, and off we went. The Grizzlies, who had only committed 3 turnovers from their offense this season coming into the game, 4 offensive turnovers, though turned it over twice in the first half. One of those turnovers was a fumble that led to a quick turnaround and score by Junction City. And as we sit at the break, it's Northwest 30 and Junction City 20. Well, Kevin Arkin, the Grizzlies did not play a perfect first half, obviously, with the turnovers. There were a couple of penalties as well Steve Martin would probably like to fix. But as we know, as you move into November, the competition gets better and better, and the Grizzlies here at home with a 10-point lead.
And we'll take the 10-point lead for sure. Part of the not the excuse, but maybe the reasoning behind the turnovers in this game, first of all, is the outstanding play of Junction City. They're a good, quality team. That's why they got the same record we do. And you know, they're going to force those kind of fumbles. They're going to force those kind of plays. Also, the weather conditions, either team could have fumbled. And, you know, my hat's off to Junction City that they have, you know, they muffed a kickoff early. But other than that, they've had very good control of the football, even in these adverse conditions. Northwest, not quite so much.
You know, it's damp, it's cold. It was raining pretty hard when the game started. It's not raining at all now, but it's still damp and cold. And you kind of felt like, though, that those conditions would not affect these two teams all that much because they like to run the football so much anyway. If a team is forced in the second half to throw the football, especially if they're forced to have to throw it into the wind, that could be a different story. But these are such good ground teams that they've not been affected by the weather so far.
Well, you speak about being good ground teams. Here's just a few numbers that I put together very quickly. First of all, Jace Glasper has 64 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Sincere Thompson, 117 on the ground, and L.J. Phillips, 182 on the ground, and that's just in the first half. And Boganowski, who's just been Mr. All-World all of a sudden, 153 yards on the ground in the first half. And, you know, we're not prepared for that because we weren't expecting him to be playing quarterback in this game.
30-20, Northwest has the lead on our halftime show brought to you by the United States Navy. We are going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll check in with our friends from Mel Hambleton Ford, our presenting sponsor of Grizzly football. So stay tuned for that when we continue. 30-20, again, Northwest with the lead at the half. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Navy halftime show rolls on 30-20 Grizzlies with the lead here at the break. We want to thank our friends from the United States Navy for sponsoring your Grizzly halftime show. They've made an appearance or two out here at Grizzly Stadium this season, shaking hands with parents and prospective recruits. If you want a career in the Navy, you can simply find them on Facebook at the West Wichita location of the United States Navy Recruiting Office. You can also go to the United States Navy website, and if you file an inquiry there and enter your zip code, they'll come to you. So thanks to the Navy for sponsoring Grizzly football. Kevin, back to the story here, 30-20 Northwest with the lead, and we just had the door to our booth open up, and I don't think that's rain falling from the sky now. I believe we are officially getting snowfall.
It is indeed. You look at the lights across the way, Steve, and it is indeed snowing here at Grizzly Stadium. This in a city where it was 78 degrees yesterday, and the forecast for tomorrow is 61.
But tonight, a different story is we've got precipitation coming down. Now, it looks like
It's rain
when you see it hit the ground, but when you look up into the lights or when the door was open a while ago, it sure looked like snow. Nonetheless, it is in the forecast. It's the point being, it's under 40 degrees. We've got wind out of the north. It feels a lot like Christmas here tonight in early November, doesn't it?
I'm not singing jingle bells. I don't care what you say.
Neither team has come out of the locker room yet, and I don't know if that's due to instructions from their coach that they're still undergoing or if they're just trying to take advantage of the warmth. But we haven't seen either team come out of the locker room yet at the half. So, Kevin, let's transition into our keys to the second half, which are brought to you by Central Auto Repair and Electric, where you can leave your keys with them, and they'll give you a ride where you need to go while they fix your car. Also, Central Auto Repair and Electric provides free multi-point inspections with any service performed. Go in there, get an oil change. Go in there, get your tire fixed up. Whatever the case, they'll also do a free multi-point inspection on your car. 975 Northwest Street, Central Auto Repair and Electric. Kevin, your keys to the second half.
Well, the key for Northwest, twofold. One, get rid of the turnovers. Okay, no excuses. Yeah, it might be snowing. Don't care. They cannot afford to turn the ball over again in the second half because they've already turned one of those turnovers into points. For Junction City, and then they need to score. They need to score some more. For Junction City, for Junction City, they need to keep on doing what they're doing, and they need to keep on scoring with the long play of our surprise quarterback, that we weren't expecting. And I'm going to go back to Northwest and say the other key to their game is to negate the surprise quarterback from Junction City, whose name is just escaping me.
Michael Boganowski.
Boganowski. I apologize for not remembering. But the Grizzlies need to negate him, and Junction City needs to capitalize on him. Whichever one wins that battle is probably going to win this ball game.
30-20 the score at the break as our United States Navy halftime show winds down. Now we've got both teams back out onto the field going through some warm-ups toward the end of our half. Again, 38 degrees, wind out of the north at about 18 miles an hour, and it is either raining or snowing or perhaps a mix, but it's coming down pretty good again, as it was when the game started. Your game time conditions brought to you by Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry at the corner of Central and Woodchuck. Hey, they do implants there. They also treat patients of all ages, from youth all the way up to senior citizens. Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry brings you your game conditions, and it is cold and wet, Kevin.
It is. There's no other way to sum it up. And it's kind of interesting. We're about 8 inches behind on our rainfall because we went 4 months with no rain here in Wichita, and it's nice of the weatherman to give it all to us in one night.
That's kind of how it seems. All right, 30-20 is the score at the break. We'll take a timeout, come back at the second half. Rolling in a moment. This is Grizzly Football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. All right, welcome back to Grizzly Stadium as we're ready for the second half of action. Northwest will kick it off. From our left to right go the Grizzlies with that breeze at about 18 miles an hour behind them. North wind behind Northwest, and Junction City will go into the wind in the third quarter. 30-20 is the score. Northwest kicking off with the halftime lead. Your second half kickoff brought to you by Jensen Chiropractic. Susan Jensen right across from Northwest High School will do sports physicals for all athletes in the area for just $20. Jensen Chiropractic sponsors your second half kickoff, which is a touchback by Tyler Smalley. It'll be 1st and 10 Junction City from our right to left, starting at their own 20-yard line.
No surprise about the touchback with the wind being what it is. And with the wind in the face of Junction City, that makes it even more critical for the Grizzlies defense to hold here and get the ball back for the offense.
So here come the Grizzlies, 1st and 10 the Blue Jays of Junction City from their own 20. Junction City in their blue pants, white jerseys, blue numbers, white helmets. Northwest in all blue tonight, blue jerseys, blue pants with gold numbers on the blue jersey. The shotgun snap is away from the quarterback. He's chasing it all the way back to the 1-yard line. The ball is still free. It's in the end zone. Have the Grizzlies recovered? They have a defensive score for Northwest in the end zone. Touchdown, Northwest.
Wow.
That one just squirted across the turf on the shotgun snap, and it ended up in the end zone, and it looked initially like maybe Junction City had recovered it for a safety, but it actually is a defensive touchdown for Northwest. What a way to start the third quarter. Now Tyler Smalley for the extra point, and it's on its way, and it's good. We'll take the timeout. What a start to the third quarter. 11:51 to go, third quarter. Northwest 37, Junction City 20. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hamilton Ford. Well, the Northwest defense has a safety tonight and a touchdown on a bad snap in a shotgun formation on the first play from scrimmage for Junction City to start the third quarter. The Grizzlies recover that snap in the end zone. Tyler Smalley's ensuing kickoff through the end zone. Touchback, 1st and 10 for Junction City. 37-20. Northwest has the lead. Opening 9 seconds of the third quarter.
And how important are the turnovers?
We've seen a few already. Critical one for Junction City, directly leading to points for Northwest. 1st and 10, can the Blue Jays regroup and rebound now? And the quarterback, Boganowski, drops the shotgun snap this time, picks it up, and takes it around the right side. He's actually got room across the 30, across the 35 to the 36-yard line. A 16-yard run, making something out of nothing, Kevin.
He did. That play had big loss written on it when he booted the snap, and I don't know how he managed to get through the line after picking the ball up, but he ended up getting 16 yards and a first down.
1st and 10 for Junction City. Boganowski out of the shotgun. This time he's got the snap. It just dances around and gets hit hard in the backfield, and down he goes. Grizzlies read that one well for a loss. It's 2nd down and long.
Way to come back for the defense of Northwest. Get him for a 3-yard loss.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Peyton Dean with the stop. Came into the game second on the team with 48 tackles and one there for a loss of 3 yards on the play. 2nd down and 13 for Junction City. Opening minute plus, third quarter, 37-20, Northwest with the lead. Grizzlies with a defensive score to start the quarter. Boganowski back here, dropping down the middle, throws across the middle, passes incomplete. Ben Heidebrecht had it right in the breadbasket as he was guarding the tight end, Rodney Coleman, and it was Heidebrecht that had it in his breadbasket, nearly held on. Incomplete, though.
Almost had his third pick of the year.
3 Grizzlies all tied for tops on the team with 2. Dontrell Harris and Trenton Salisbury, along with Heidebrecht, all have 2 apiece. 3rd and 13, Junction City here. Throwing situation perhaps. Boganowski, though, is going to take the shotgun snap and run around the right side, and the Grizzlies were ready for that. Down he goes near the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be 4th down and long, a likely punting situation for Junction City.
And the punter goes back for the Blue Jays.
So the Grizzlies do the job. They get the stop, and now up 17. Northwest really can take control here. Low snap bounces into the punter. He scoops it up off the turf and gets this one away. But it takes a Grizzly bounce out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Boy, that's a bad break for Junction City. 22-yard punt is all into the wind, and it got a bad bounce to boot. 1st and 10 Northwest from their own 43-yard line. Great field position. 10:05 to go, 3rd quarter, 37-20. Northwest has the lead and the football. Jace Glasper out of the shotgun, both running backs in on this play. Glasper's going to hand it off. And this is going to be a running play that starts right, then Phillips peels around to the left side where he's got a little space. Out near midfield he goes to the 50. He disappeared into the pile, Kevin, reverses direction and picks up good yardage.
I thought he was down. I really did. I thought they had him tackled for about a 1-yard gain. All of a sudden he's making a sweep around the left side.
It ends up being an 8-yard pickup, actually. 2nd down and 2 from the 49 of Junction City. Glasper out of the gun. Turns around, and he's going to run a zone read. Good fake handoff around the right side. Jace has room inside the 45, inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. Half the house thought he handed it off, and Jace Glasper picks up a 4 points insurance 1st down, except there's a hold. It's coming back.
Well, maybe that's why he got 8 yards on it.
Takari Brown, as a receiver for Northwest, called for the hold. Hey, Takari's not had his name called tonight. In fact, hardly any of these receivers have, so they wanted to get their name called, perhaps.
That's not the way to get your name called.
It's not.
And it turns out to be not much difference because it was a downfield hold.
Yeah, so it's 2nd down and about 6 now. Glasper is going to hand it off. I think this is Thompson around the left side, and once again it looks like he's down and he stays on his feet. And he's to the 45-yard line. That's going to be a 4 points 1st down. Boy, the Grizzlies just hammering away at Junction City on the ground. And they want to do that up 17 now in the second half and work that clock, and they're doing a good job of it.
They are.
Approaching 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Northwest up by 17, 37-20. Handoff Phillips right up the middle. Behind left guard now. He'll shift and make his way to about the 42 and pick up 3, 2nd down. Stay tuned after the game for our Hog Wild Pit Barbecue post-game show. We'll have our player of the game brought to you by Seneca Bowl. And we'll have our play of the game, our gem of the game, brought to you by Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair. 20-6 when the second half started up in Manhattan. Manhattan on top of East. The winner of that play is the winner of this. Manhattan, of course, the number 1 seed in the state. They've beaten both of these teams already this season. 2nd down and 7. Glasper. Shotgun coming right, whistles, and we've got another, what looks like false start on Northwest. Did I hear him say number 4?
That's what I thought he said. I don't think that's right.
That's Amari Bohannon, who's a defensive back.
Yeah, and he's not in the game.
2nd down and 12 for Northwest. Maybe he said 24 and it was Phillips.
Maybe. That would make more sense.
We'll see how it affects the Grizzlies. This is going to be a handoff to Thompson trying to find the edge. He won't get there. Finally, Junction City able to string one out, and Sincere Thompson loses yardage on the play. It's 3rd and very long.
Thompson tripped over the wet turf as he received the ball and never really recovered.
So 3rd and 13 for Northwest. You can see a shift in the tempo, though, Kevin. The Grizzlies much more methodical now here in the second half, wanting to work the clock already, up by 17 here in the third quarter. On 3rd and 13, Glasper back, deep drop, throws a little swing pass out to Thompson, too high and incomplete. Nothing was open deep downfield, so he went for the safety valve, but he overshot the screen pass intended receiver Thompson.
Not a well-thrown ball at all by Glasper that time, and fortunately there were no white shirts nearby, so it fell harmlessly to the ground. But now here they are, 4th down and a mile.
Glasper will likely drop back into punt formation. Grizzlies showing that they'll run an offensive play here. But it's 4th and 13. You'd think they'll drop him back and punt, and they will. There he goes. Now standing back at his own 40-yard line. Glasper to get the punt away. And it's going to be one off the side of his foot over near the sideline, but it takes a good Grizzly bounce out of bounds at the 16-yard line. 36-yard punt, no return, will stay right here. 7:44 to go, third quarter, as the Grizzlies punted away, but they lead by 17, 37-20.
It's really a shame that the Grizzlies could not score on that drive, because that really would have put them in the catbird seat, up by three plus scores.
The problem for Junction City, and there's still time left, and they do run it very well, but this Junction City team does not appear, certainly with their backup quarterbacks in there too, that they've had to use to be much of a throwing threat. And they may have to start resorting to that if this deficit continues into the fourth quarter. Handoff here, in fact, running right, Logan Nabis. Not much doing. Grizzlies read the run well there. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage for Nabis. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, they gave him credit for a 2-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 8, but excellent coverage that time by the defensive line of Northwest.
Yeah, it was Caden Ross. He ran right into the big arms of Ross.
He
Good
did.
to see him back in there now after an injury set him out for a week or two. Boy, there is no urgency for this Junction City team. Down 17. Now, play action fake. This is Brock Bazin, the quarterback. He's going to drop back, throw to the right side, and it's incomplete. Boy, great double coverage by the Grizzlies downfield, and all of a sudden it's 3rd down and 8.
Bazin has thrown the ball 3 times tonight. He's yet to complete one.
We just mentioned how they do not seem to throw with a lot of effectiveness or efficiency, and certainly, Kevin, keep in mind in their defense, they're into that stiff breeze right now, but they're going to have to get some urgency, because when you give the ball right back to Northwest, even if the Grizzlies don't score, you can guarantee the Grizzlies are going to chew some clock.
And chewing clock is what Northwest wants to do right about now.
So a big play here for Junction City to try to stay in the game. Bazin back to pass. Swarm dug into the backfield. Down he goes. There were 3 or 4 guys in blue and maize back in the backfield. They'll say forward progress is up at the 12. Bazin actually went down back around the 6. Still, it's a sack, and it's 4th down.
And Trey Birch led the charge on that sack.
Back at the nose tackle position is Birch this week. It's 4th down now and a mile for Junction City. They need 14, and they're going to have to punt into a stiff breeze, which means Northwest should have great starting field position here. The punt is a low line drive, and Trent Salisbury just runs off the field. Doesn't even want to take a chance, and why? When you're going to have great field position anyway. Punt bounces out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. 33-yard punt, no return. 6:14 to go, third quarter. Northwest with the football back, guarding a 17-point lead, 37-20.
Have the ball in plus territory to start for, I think, the 3rd time tonight.
Manhattan has added to their lead. It's now 27-12. They just picked up a 72-yard run for a score. We've seen a few of those from up there ourselves a couple of weeks ago that we hope not to see again. 1st and 10 here. Handoff for the Grizzlies, running play up the gut for a couple. We'd love to be in Manhattan next week. Things are looking more and more like that might happen. But, boy, that team is something else on the ground.
They are. And, we've played them once now. We've seen it. Now we need to adjust to it if it is indeed us that goes up there.
2nd down and 7 for Northwest here. Glasper out of the shotgun. He's going to run it to the left side, keeping it himself inside the 40, down near the 35, near the 30. Looks like he's got the first down as the Grizzlies will move the chains. Nice job by Glasper, just keeping it on the ground right there.
He has run very well tonight, Steve. He's got, not only because he's got a lot of yards, but he's got good yards, good quality running.
1st and 10. Handoff up the middle. This is Thompson stutter stepping at the line of scrimmage, shifting left across the 30, down to the 27-yard line. Good run by Sincere, I believe, and he'll get a nice gain of about 6 yards. It was Thompson indeed.
And the Grizzlies now doing what they want to do offensively, and that is to wear down the defense of Junction City by pounding the run up the middle.
The Grizzlies again not going fast here in the 3rd quarter. Clock approaching 5 minutes left in the 3rd, 37-20. West not going with as much tempo now with that 17-point lead. Glasper gets the shotgun snap. He'll hand it off. Running play near the line to gain. They only needed 4, and it looks like they got just that for another 4 points first down. That was Thompson again on the carry. What a 1-2 punch those are.
They are. Between Phillips and Thompson, what a great tandem we have.
Both of them have exceeded 1,000 yards rushing on the season, and Phillips has done so without playing last week. 1st and 10 here. Shotgun snap to Glasper. Back behind the line of scrimmage. Down he goes. Outside the 30-yard line. He was swarmed under. Finally, a positive defensive play. The defensive end, Elijah Clark Boyd, 6'2", 240, and a senior, was in the backfield in a heartbeat. He's going to get credit for the sack and a tackle for loss.
6-yard loss on the play.
Haven't seen much of that. A defender for Junction City into the Grizzly backfield.
Hasn't happened much tonight.
So the Grizzlies now need 15 for a first down, and Glasper's out of the shotgun. Northwest now looks like they're going to call a timeout. We'll take it too. 3:50 to go, 3rd quarter, 37-20. Grizzlies with the lead. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium. 37-20, Northwest with the lead. Grizzlies with the football as well. 2nd and 15. It is for Northwest, though, at the 30-yard line of Junction City. And Jace Glasper watches his backs do some shifting around in the backfield. Now he's going to fake a handoff left and come right. I don't know if that was by design or a busted play. It didn't look real pretty, and Jace falls forward for a 4-yard gain.
At least he got positive yardage on it, and I think that was indeed a busted play.
Looked a little discombobulated from the start. Now it's 3rd down and 11 for Northwest. Ball resting at the Junction City 26-yard line. Glasper out of the gun. Receivers set to each side. Sincere Thompson to his right, Phillips to his left. Jace wants to throw. Fade. End zone has a man there, but it's underthrown. Nearly caught anyway, but incomplete. Takari Brown, good coverage. Defender draped all over him. He came back to the ball and nearly caught it for a diving touchdown on a fade, but instead it's 4th down.
Well, they're going to go for it here, I would think.
They're bringing the field goal unit on.
Like I said, they're going to bring the field goal unit on.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
Yeah.
Tyler Smalley will attempt a 42-yarder. Plenty of wind behind him. He's got plenty of leg without the wind. Glasper, the quarterback, is the holder from the right hash. Kick is up on its way. This one does have enough leg, but it's wide left, very wide, as he hooked it, and Junction City's defense holds with 3:07 to go, third quarter. But Northwest still on top by 17. Grizzlies 37, Junction City 20.
And we did do a good job, again, of milking some clock here in the third quarter, but it would have been nice to get some points out of it. And you kind of put them away, you know. We haven't done that.
Junction City still, as a result, hanging around in this one.
They're one score away from being in the game.
So here comes the Blue Jay offense now, and it looks like it's Bazin back in at quarterback for Junction City. He's a 170-pound junior. As they've shuffled quarterbacks back and forth, but it's Brock Bazin now. He's going to take the shotgun snap, hand it off to a running play coming right, and the ball carrier gets thrown down to the turf pretty aggressively, as well, as the Grizzlies aren't having any of that business, and it's a loss on the play, second down. It seems like, Kevin, it's been really feast or famine for Junction City. They seem like they get some really, really big runs, or they've got others that go almost nowhere, and they've had very little in between.
That's true. That's true. It's been a big play offense with the run tonight for them.
2nd and 11, shotgun to Bazin, and he has to haul in the snap, and now he's got some room around the left side, and look out, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, into Grizzly territory, down inside the 40, and actually they switched it up again. That was Boganowski who ran quarterback that time, and a big gain into Grizzly territory to the 39. Now they're going to get another quarterback into the game, Griffin Bohannon. Boy, how many guys have we seen play quarterback for this team?
They're doing it by committee, and I don't understand why. I would think that would take away from their continuity.
Well, no, now Bohannon was behind center. Now it's MC Taylor who's listed as a running back. Now there's all kinds of shifting. Yeah, they've got a lot of different activity going on. Looks like there's going to be a...
Well, they did a wildcat snap that time to Nabus. Of course, it all comes back.
You're right. MC Taylor's a running back, and I thought he was going to take the direct snap, but it's the fullback. Neither of them are listed as quarterbacks. They're just going, like you said earlier, Kevin, by committee in the absence of their starting quarterback, Xavion Felton, who we thought would return to action tonight, but that's not been the case.
Well, we were told he was ready to go.
Logan Nabus, the fullback, is going to run it out of the Wildcat here. He's got the shotgun snap. He's going to run a zone read, run straight ahead, nowhere to go. After the loss of 5 on the false start, they run straight ahead for nothing, and it's now 2nd down and 15. Clock winding down, under 90 seconds left, third quarter. Northwest 37, Junction City 20. There was a defensive touchdown on the very first play of the third quarter from scrimmage. Shotgun snap went into the end zone. The Grizzlies recovered it for a score. No points since. But the Grizzlies have been very conservative, and it's the way to play it, up 17 in the third quarter, especially against another team that likes to run the ball like you do. Nabus out of the Wildcat again. 3 receivers. He's going to take the shotgun snap, run a zone read off to the right. Here comes a flag, and Nabus maybe gets a yard, then he's thrown down again. Jeremiah Harrison on that stop will also check the flag, but that one went nowhere for Junction City again.
Well, I would look for a hold here. Be interesting to see whether or not Northwest passes on the penalty.
It's an illegal substitution against Junction City. Not surprising, though, as many players as they continue to shuffle in and out, Kevin. They have a lot of movement before the start of a play.
It's only a 5-yard penalty, but it makes it 2nd and 20 now.
Back at the 49-yard line of Northwest is Junction City. Under a minute to go, third quarter, 37-20, Northwest with the lead. The winner will play the winner of Manhattan and Wichita East. Manhattan leading that one 27-6 at the third quarter at last check. No real surprise there. Second down now and a mile for Junction City. And this is going to be Nabis dropping back, passes down the middle, has a man there, but led him too far, incomplete.
And it's a good thing that he overled him, because if he catches the ball, he scores.
And again, in his defense, that's a guy that normally plays fullback. It's back there in quarterback, unless they just brought Boganowski back in. Nonetheless, neither of those guys have played a lot. The intended receiver was Sheldon Butler-Lawson. Led too far, though incomplete.
Butler-Lawson, though, got behind both safeties for Northwest. And like I said, if he catches the ball, there's nothing between him and the end zone except a bunch of green grass.
It is Boganowski who's quarterbacking here for Junction City. 3rd and 20 here. He's back, straight drop, lobs down the middle of the field into traffic, incomplete, and here comes a flag. Boy, one of the Grizzlies got in there and knocked that away at the last minute, and a flag came flying in as well, as if maybe we've got defensive pass interference.
That's interference. That's unfortunate, because Jeremiah Harris made a great play to bat that ball away and did not make contact with the receiver. I do not like this call.
You can perhaps hear the boos from the home crowd.
Man, they don't like the call either.
But the official that threw the flag had a lot better angle. I mean, he did reach around with the left hand and bat the ball away in front of the receiver, but from up here, maybe he had the right hand draped on him and we didn't see it.
That is possible.
3rd down and 5. It's not an automatic first down on pass interference in high school football. So it's 3rd and 5. Boganowski's going to run it, and down he goes. Behind the line of scrimmage, he'll lose a couple. It's now 4th down and 7. What a job by the Grizzly defense. That's one of the differences between high school football and the colleges or NFL. It's not an automatic first down on pass interference. So it went from 3rd and 20 to 3rd and 5 as we've reached now the end of the 3rd quarter. So it'll be a big 4th down play for Junction City to try and stay in this game when we come back. After 3, Northwest 37, Junction City. Start of the 4th quarter. Big play for Junction City here to try and stay in the game. 4th and 8 from the Northwest 37. Northwest leading by 17 points. Boganowski, play action back, throws a fade down the near side. Has a man there, but it's overthrown again and incomplete. Good coverage downfield, and Northwest forced Junction City to turn it over on downs. Was that Jeremiah Harrison coverage? I think it was.
It was, and he redeemed himself for the defensive pass interference call earlier. He had perfect coverage that time, and the ball was nowhere near the receiver. It was uncatchable anyway, so it all works out for the best.
And now, watch the Grizzlies just pound it away on the ground here. With 11:55 left in the 4th quarter, up by 17. Jace Glasper, 1st and 10, runs around the left side and runs out of bounds at about the 45-yard line, but that's going to be a nice 8-yard gain on first down. 37-20, Northwest with the lead. 11:48 to go, 4th quarter.
The only objection I had to that run was that he ran out of bounds and stopped the clock.
Thought for a second he might just slide down. You're right, around the 43-yard line. Instead here, 2nd down and 2, handoff right up the middle. This is going to be Sincere Thompson, and Thompson's going to pick up 3, and that's enough for 4 points first down. 4 Points Insurance sponsors all Grizzly first downs, 9460721. Commercial insurance or personal lines, they've got you covered, and also take care of your Medicare supplements for the 2023 calendar year. 4 Points Insurance and Financial Services. Handoff Sincere Thompson coming left into Junction City territory, spilled at the 48-yard line. Moisture still coming down, and you can see it blowing from left to right, wind out of the north, and it's coming down hard again, Kevin.
It is. The rain just picked up. And I don't know if it's a rain-snow mix or if it's just rain, but it's raining hard.
We are under 40 degrees here tonight at Grizzly Stadium. Weather conditions brought to you by Joaquin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry at the corner of Central and Woodchuck. 2nd down, 6, handoff L.J. Phillips. Right up the middle, and he's cartwheeling and tumbling down near the 40-yard line. He was dropped, though, at the 43, so he's a yard shy of the line to gain. It's 3rd down and a yard. Grizzlies at the Junction City 43, shotgun snap. Glasper coming left around the left edge, and he's going to stop at the 40. This time he stays in bounds, and his own teammate throws him inbounds in town. L.J. Phillips said, enough of that, stay in bounds, and threw down his own teammate. Now, that's funny, Kevin, but Phillips looked like he was hurt also. He was limping away after he tackled his own player. Look at LJ hobbling around.
He was trying to give Jace an assist to go forward.
Handoff Thompson coming left. He's got a huge hole to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown Grizzlies. It's curtains from Grizzly Stadium as the Grizzlies have taken the lead 43-20.
29-yard dash from Sincere Thompson, and the block that time to Spring Thompson was provided by L.J. Phillips.
And I don't know if LJ was throwing Jace Glasper down to get him to stay in bounds, because it looked like Jace was going out again, or if he was just trying to help him get a few extra yards. Now we've had a flag thrown, but it looked like LJ hurt himself. But he's the primary reason Glasper went down 2 plays ago, and then Thompson takes it to the house after that. There's a penalty here before this kick. Looks like
they'll assess that on the kickoff, which will negate some of the wind.
Frustration starting to set in for Junction City. That's DeQuazy Oscar called for the unsportsmanlike prior to the extra point. They will, as Kevin said, assess it on the kickoff. The extra point is good. 10:15 to go, 4th quarter. Northwest 44, Junction City 20. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. After the personal foul before the extra point, the Grizzlies will kick it off in Junction City territory. Tyler Smalley from the 45, and now it's just a little onside type kick, but the Grizzlies may have jumped off sides before it happened. Flags are down, whistles blow, and no kickoff. I think Northwest got a head start there.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go for coverage a little too aggressively and forgot to let the ball go in front of them.
Manhattan threatening to score again at last check. In fact, they just did. They're up 27-12 and threatening to score. They haven't punched it in just yet at last check, but looks like it will be a rematch of 2 weeks ago. Manhattan and Northwest from The Little Apple again, this time back to the 50. Smalley just punches it out of the end zone for a touchback. So Northwest's defense will come out onto the field now with 10-13 left in the fourth quarter, and the Grizzlies dominating up by 24 points.
That last touchdown was probably the nail in the coffin for Junction City, and I've been waiting for that the entire third quarter.
44-20. Junction City had a couple of first quarter touchdowns, and boy, their offense was really rolling there for a while, but Northwest defense has held them in check for the most part ever since.
And that's a credit to the coaching staff and to the players both for adjusting to the Junction City offense.
1st and 10, Junction City here. And from the 20-yard line, they're going to run the Wildcat, and it looks like this is going to be that fullback, Logan Nabus, who's going to keep it himself. And he'll surge forward for 5. 2nd down. Again, this is where you'd really like to throw the ball if you're Junction City. Down 24. Kevin, that's still technically only 3 scores, and they've got the win behind them, but throwing, especially with backup quarterbacks, just not in the cards for this team, it appears.
And not tonight, anyway.
Nabus is going to hand it off. Nothing doing. Grizzlies reading the run very well. Here comes a flag, though. So let's hold on.
That might be a late hit.
Caden Ross just got called for a face mask, it was. He was in on the stop, but he also got some headgear, and that'll move everything forward.
That'll be 15 yards on a first down.
So that'll move it up to the 38-yard line. 1st and 10 for Junction City. 9.5 left, fourth quarter. Northwest up 44-20. As it's looking now almost certainly like a rematch between the two teams we saw 2 weeks ago. Low snap, and Nabus has to scoop it up off the turf, and that wasted too much time. And here come the Grizzlies to swallow him under.
5-yard loss on that play, and you're right. The bad snap that cost Junction City dearly.
All the way back to the 33-yard line, 2nd down and 14. Under 9 minutes left in the game now. 44-20, Northwest with the lead. Junction City will run with the shotgun, and this time it's going to be Boganowski again running the quarterback keeper around the left side. He's got some room down the sideline. Look at him go. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Junction City. And just when you're ready to put the final nail in the coffin, Junction City comes back with the score. You would think that they'll go for 2 here to cut it down to 16.
That is his second 67-yard touchdown run of the game.
Kevin, what are they doing? They're bringing the extra point team on.
I don't understand that.
They're down 18
You gotta go for 2.
If you go for 2, it's a 16. Especially the way they're running the ball. What in the world's going on here? They're still going to be down 3 scores. Extra points, good. Okay. 8.5 to go, fourth quarter. 44-27, Northwest. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hamilton Ford.
Am I missing something here?
Junction City kickoff, a touchback. Northwest with the football. 8:33 to go, fourth quarter. 44-27. Northwest with the lead. And Kevin Arkin, I'm not sure if it'll end up making a difference, but still a very mind-boggling decision by Randall Zimmerman, the head coach of Junction City, not to go for two, especially the way they're running the football. If you pick up the 2-point conversion there, it's a 2-score game, but he opted inexplicably for the extra point, and now Junction City is still down 17.
That's right. It's still a 3-score game. Basically, he did us a big favor.
Makes no sense at all. Hand off to L.J. Phillips around the left side, and L.J. barrels over a defender or two, and he runs out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. And, I mean, when the 2-point conversion started to become a thing, they used to talk about how there was a chart that coaches had for when to go for two and when to not, depending on how many you're up or down by.
Well, this had to be on the chart as a go.
All day long, the chart says when you're down 18, you go for two. Glasper around the left side, across the 30 to the 35-yard line, and then Jace out of bounds again. Grizzlies running out of bounds an awful lot here in the fourth quarter, Kevin.
We just caught a break. Jace fumbled that ball, and fumbled it out of bounds.
Clock is stopped, though, at 18 to go. Okay, so I beg your pardon there. Didn't see the fumble there in front of the Grizzly bench. 44-27, Northwest with the lead in the football. First down and 10 from their own 37-yard line. Glasper out of the shotgun. He's got Sincere Thompson behind him and to his right. L.J. Phillips lined up as a blocking back near the tight end spot. Here goes Thompson. Look out. Across the 40, 45, and out to the 49. Move the chains. Gain of 12. There's a 4 points insurance first down.
First down, lots of yardage, and the clock is moving. And it is snowing outside.
We've had a good mix of rain and snow throughout the night. A lot of wind. Feels like winter outside. Northwest, though, in command. Handoff, L.J. Phillips around the right side. Hit at the 50. Stays on his feet all the way to the 44. 46, excuse me. Boy, I thought he was dead to rights at the 50, Kevin.
He was. He moved the pile 6 yards.
To the 46-yard line of Junction City. And the Grizzlies can take almost 30 seconds per play if they want to and really chew up this clock right now.
And that's exactly what they're doing.
Glasper looks over to the sideline. Play clock at 16. He'll take the snap here. He'll hand it off to Phillips. Coming left, upended at the 41. How about the tackle that time by Boganowski, Kevin? That's the safety that made the stop after that, about 80-yard touchdown run he had a few moments ago.
Boganowski's going to sleep good tonight.
He's just a junior, 6'3", 200 pounds. He's played quarterback extremely well tonight in a relief role, and we've called his name a few times as a safety. Here it is, third down and a yard. Jace Glasper's going to take the snap himself and run it in behind left guard. He's got the 4 points insurance first down inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. Chains will move, clock will run. 6:45 and counting, fourth quarter, Northwest 44, Junction City 27.
And the clock now is the best friend in the building of Northwest.
It's also the reason Jace Glasper is staring at Steve Martin for a long time, waiting for the play, and he's got it. And now he'll look over at the sideline again. First and 10 Northwest. Glasper's still waiting for the shotgun snap. Now he hands it off, and this will be a running play to the right. That's not going to get far, maybe back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. That was Deuce Bohannon, I believe, on that carry. So there's a Deuce sighting.
We got a player down, I think.
That might be, well, I was going to say it might be Bohannon. I think it is. I was waiting to make sure it was him before I confirmed he had the call.
The trainers are already out there. They didn't waste any time.
He still hasn't gotten up off the turf. So I think that was Bohannon with the carry, and Bohannon, who is down, that's a big blow for Northwest because their depth with Michael Lopez injured. Bohannon was filling in for him. He's also done great as a backup running back, and he's lying down on the turf at the 38-yard line.
And that was his first carry of the ball game.
We'll take the timeout. 5:57 to go. Fourth quarter, Northwest 44, Junction City 27. This is Grizzly football presented by Mel Hamilton Ford. Well, Deuce Bohannon being helped up.
Oh, it's a leg injury, Steve.
Yeah, he's got his left leg not touching the turf. He's only using the right. He had his first carry of the night, and that will be his last, and hopefully he will return this season. But Deuce Bohannon, freshman, what a great job he's done in some relief duty this season, both as a ball carrier and receiver, off to the bench, and he's got a left leg injury. Hopefully we'll get updated on that before next week's game at Manhattan. 1st and 10 Grizzlies here, leading 44-20. Handoff L.J. Phillips, tripped up at the 30-yard line, then stays on his feet, falls forward to the 28-yard line. And, Kevin, I just brought up a couple of words we've never talked about with L.J. before. Does he ever fall backwards?
No.
He always falls forward.
He always falls forward.
It's that strength and speed. And is he limping around again? L.J., he missed last week with an injury.
Well, he ran okay that last play.
Did you see him hobbling there, though?
Yeah.
He's lined up where a tight end would be over on the left, and we might want to keep an eye on his movement. He did not play last week due to an injury, and now he's in motion over to the right side. Looked okay there. 1st down and 10 for the Grizzlies. Handoff Thompson around the right side. Sincere falling forward inside the 20, down to the 18, close to the line to gain. In fact, he's got it. Another 4 points, 1st down.
And who sprung him? L.J. Phillips.
Running in right behind him on the right side of the formation. Clock under 5 minutes left in the game. Grizzlies 44, Junction City 27. Glasper, shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Phillips behind left guard. Big hole inside the 15, inside the 10, falling forward to about the 8-yard line. There's a gain of about 10 yards again, and it looks like another 4 points, 1st down. Grizzlies just methodically on the ground, chipping away, moving downfield. 1st and goal from inside the 10. And Phillips has the carry again from the 8 down to the 5. He was dropped on the play by Junction City's Rodney Coleman, 6-foot defensive lineman, and that'll bring up 2nd down and goal from the 5. Glasper to Thompson again. Big hole up the middle to the 5, to the goal line. Touchdown, Grizzlies. Sincere Thompson from 5 yards out. And the Grizzlies have hit 50. It's 50-27.
And I hear the hammer banging the nail.
So the Grizzlies have hit the half-century mark now tonight, and Tyler Smalley on for the extra point. We'll keep it right here after this extra point, Kevin. Grizzlies getting some late special teams additions onto the field. Of course, Jace Glasper is a holder, and L.J. Phillips is definitely hurt now. Here it looks like his wrist or his arm. He's walking over to the bench to get some attention, and hopefully he's all right. The scariest thing is when you think it's a leg. Smalley's kick was no good. It's 50-27 with 4:12 left in the contest. Kevin, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, and I never got to touch on it, but these two teams actually had a few common opponents this season. It's interesting, Kevin, because Junction City actually played Bishop Carroll 2 weeks after the Grizzlies did and beat them 28-21.
You know, I'd forgotten that.
And, of course, Bishop Carroll knocked off Northwest to start the season. But Bishop Carroll lost to Junction City. Both teams have played Manhattan. Manhattan beat Junction City 44-7. Of course, they knocked off the Grizzlies 56-28. Both of these teams played Topeka, too, who is really struggling this season. They are way down, and it was 54-12. Junction City over Topeka. Of course, the Grizzlies beat Topeka 81-13. 50-12 here in a downpour from Grizzly Stadium. Final 4:12 as Northwest is going to have Smalley kick it off high and short. It's going to be picked up at the 12-yard line, and this is going to be a good return for Junction City. Trent Crumpton nearly takes it all the way out to the 50, stopped at the 48-yard line of Junction City.
The special teams unit literally overran the play, went too far deep, and once the ball was caught and advanced 5 yards, there were 5 blue shirts behind him, chasing him downfield here toward midfield. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I was with you.
I didn't do a very good job explaining that, but that's what happened.
He kicked it shorter than the coverage.
Exactly.
First down as opposed to outkicking the coverage. 1st and 10, Junction City, and they're going to have a high snap here. It's hauled in, though, by Brock Bazin, and he's going to toss it left side for a running play, but Northwest is all over that. Boy, just look at this track. It's a loss of 3 yards. Look at the track, and down near the scoreboard on the track, Kevin, that it is just bright and shiny from all the moisture we've had fall here.
That's Lake Grizzly being formed down there by the scoreboard. You see the boats are now out there.
Yeah.
They're starting to load them 2 by 2.
By the way, have you called the ARC for our ride home?
Yeah, we're going to need one.
All right. Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd and 14, Junction City. And the snap is mishandled by Bazin. Don't know if it was high or just slipped out of his hands, but he lost a couple more on the play. Back to the 36-yard line.
Lost 8 that time. And part of that is because of the weather. I'm going to give him some. I'm going to give credit where credit is due here. The weatherman is causing a lot of that, because it is raining so hard now.
And Junction City still not in any real hurry or have any urgency here to advance the ball quickly, down by 23 points with 2:47 left. They're going to run it right side. And not much doing here. Logan Nabis has taken a beating to the right, and then he runs back to the left, and he'll stay free for a little bit, but not get back to the line of scrimmage. He's to the 32-yard line, and it's 4th down, and it looks like Junction City is about to wave the white flag and punt this away, and the Grizzlies can start getting into victory formation.
Well, it's 4th down and 30, so they just need a bunch. There's no way they're going to get them.
Northwest really, when they get the football back, can get into victory formation about 3 times, and that will do it.
I cannot imagine that Junction City would call timeout if they do.
Punt is away, maybe the best one of the night for Junction City. It is. Look at that bounce. It's going to bounce all the way inside the 10 and get down at about the 7-yard line. How about that?
That was a great punt. Granted, it was wind-aided, but it was still a great punt.
61 yards, but won't mean much. 50-27 is the score. Northwest with the lead, and the Grizzlies with 1:49 left certainly should now just take a couple of knees here and call it good.
The players from both teams are now they're kind of shuffling around, getting ready for the handshake walk. They're ready to get back in the locker rooms and dry off.
For Northwest, it will be preparation for Manhattan next week as Jace Glasper takes the first knee. Play clock resets to 40. They'll count it down, and the next snap will happen with just under 1 minute left here in the contest. Glasper at the 2-yard line. Grizzlies bunched in behind him very tightly. Phillips and Thompson just for precautionary purposes. Still 13 on the play clock. As Glasper just taking his sweet time. (48-12) Manhattan. 3 minutes left in that one.
Yeah, that one's over.
Kind of went the way of this one.
Well, East High hung in there for a while, though. It's given
17-6 back in the first half. They did for a little while. That was a second quarter score. That game kind of reminds me of Junction City's game last week.
Yeah.
Against South.
Yeah, South hung in there for most of the game.
Well, the City League trying to hang around in there, get some respect. Jace Glasper takes another knee, and that will do it. A rematch in Manhattan against number 1 Manhattan now awaits the Northwest Grizzlies. The final, Northwest 50, Junction City 27. The Grizzlies at number 1 now set for next week. We'll take a timeout. Stay tuned for our Hog Wild Pit Barbecue Show. In a moment, this is Grizzly Football presented by Mel Hambleton Ford. Welcome back to Grizzly Stadium, where it's a final Northwest 50 and the Junction City 27 as the Grizzlies improve to 8-2 on the season. Junction City's season comes to an end at 7-3. And with the win, the Grizzlies over the Blue Jays of Junction City, that sets up the matchup, which is a rematch of a game played 2 weeks ago up in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, because number 1 Manhattan is rolling over Wichita East tonight. That game still with a couple minutes left, but Manhattan was in control of that contest. In fact, at last check, it was 48-12 with just a couple of minutes left. So Manhattan will stay undefeated. They are the number 1 seed in the Western bracket. Northwest is the number 4 seed. And those two teams will meet up again. As Kevin, the Grizzlies look like they might have their hands full for a while, but Junction City with a makeshift situation at quarterback, and I don't know that it would have mattered tonight. The Grizzlies put up 50 points tonight, and their defense actually was responsible for a safety and a touchdown as well.
They were. The defense is really the stars of the game tonight for Northwest, in that they held Junction City back and at the same time scored themselves. A couple of big plays on turnovers were everything tonight. Junction City got a touchdown off of one of our turnovers. We got a turnover in the end zone. We also had a safety, which essentially is another turnover. So, two big plays right there by the Grizzly defense tonight.
All right, so Northwest and Manhattan, we will make the trip up to the Little Apple again 2 weeks from tonight. It's time now for our play of the game, our gem of the game, brought to you by Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair. Christopher Daniels is at the corner of Central and Tyler, and if you're in the market for a new piece of jewelry or watch repair, stop by and see Christopher Daniels at the corner of Central and Tyler. He's right next to Jimmy's Egg. Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair sponsors our gem of the game. And Kevin, it was the very first play from scrimmage in the third quarter, right out of the gate to start the second half. It was a bad snap by Junction City, and the Grizzly defense was all over it.
They swarmed all over it, and they happened to be in the right place to do it. They were in the end zone, and all of a sudden we have 6 points, and we haven't even taken the field yet.
And the Grizzlies got a safety in the first half as well, and I thought that was a very nice play. Happened in the same end zone, that south end zone to our right, where it looked like Junction City was trying a double reverse, and the Grizzlies were not fooled at all on that and picked up a safety there as well.
Not only did we get the safety on that play, Steve, but also on the ensuing possession from the free kick, we scored a touchdown. We had great field position near midfield because they were kicking it into this 20-mile-an-hour north breeze that we've got here tonight. And the Grizzlies got such good field position, it only took them several plays to get it back into the end zone again. So that was actually 9 points, not 2 points.
So the Grizzly defense comes up with the gem of the game, brought to you by Christopher Daniels Watch and Jewelry Repair. Now it's time for our player of the game, brought to you by Seneca Bowl. Hey, it's cold and damp outside. Get indoors. Participate in some bowling. Tonight it's glow bowling or cosmic bowling at Seneca Bowl, 1909 South Seneca. Stop by and see the folks there. It starts at 10 o'clock. So if you want to get out of the rain but do something fun, Seneca Bowl, 1909 South Seneca, has cosmic bowling tonight and tomorrow night. It starts at 10 o'clock. Our player of the game, Kevin, I think that L.J. Phillips is going to get that award again. Not the first time for him. Hopefully it won't be the last as well. But what a job he did, not just carrying the football, but as you brought out on that last run by Sincere Thompson, L.J. was leading the way with his blocking.
He blocked twice for Sincere Thompson for long gainers, both of which ended up in touchdowns.
Not only that, he got a tackle as well. It was strange. Jace Glasper was running down the near sideline. This was in the fourth quarter when the Grizzlies were trying to run the clock out, and I'm not sure if LJ was making sure Jace didn't run out of bounds, or was he trying to spring him for a few extra yards? I'm still not sure. Either way, it worked because LJ slung his quarterback, who stayed in bounds, a few extra yards ahead when it looked like Jace was about to go out of bounds. So he did it all tonight.
He did it all, and we congratulate LJ again for another outstanding performance. And honorable mention, if I may, to Sincere Thompson, who was just dynamite running the ball tonight.
And hey, before we wrap up, we also want to mention for those watching on YouTube, some special students who we deserve a big tip of the hat to because they did something we didn't, Kevin. They braved these brutal elements tonight to bring pictures to our YouTube audience.
And we always like to give them credit where credit is due. And, of course, they're led by Shane Monroe in their audio-visual classes. And Shane does a wonderful job with these kids. And they're getting hands-on experience on sports production right here at Northwest High. And our crew tonight included Jonathan Shue. We mention his name almost every week. He's been a veritable fixture up here for several years, the senior Jonathan Shue. Julian Bacanegra, I hope I pronounced that correctly, joined him. I think that was Julian's first time up here. And Jane Garcia did a great job tonight engineering the broadcast on the YouTube side. We congratulate her as well and thank all of the kids for coming out tonight. And as you mentioned, they braved the elements when we did not.
50-27, Northwest with the win tonight to set up a trip back to Manhattan. Kevin, what's got to happen differently between the lines for the Grizzlies to come away and be the first team to upset Manhattan all season long?
We played like a young team when we were up there 3 weeks ago. And we played like a young team because we are a young team. They are laden with seniors, and we are not. So now that we've played them and we've gotten this intimidation of the number one team in the state, and they're all seniors and they're all great, now we've got all that out of our system now. Now we need to go up there and show them what we can do, and that we don't need to have nothing but seniors on our team to win games. We proved that again tonight because of all the seniors that Junction City had tonight. There's no reason we can't go to Manhattan next week and take the game right to them and walk away with a W.
One of the things I think Steve Martin is very good about is adjusting from 1 week to the next. When this team hasn't been on the winning side of things, this team has a way, thanks, I think, in large part to him and his staff, of bouncing back, learning from their mistakes, adjusting and fixing things the next week. In this case, they're not coming off a loss against Manhattan here tonight. Northwest obviously wins, but still, I think this team will look different the second time around than they did 2 weeks ago. Will that mean a win? I don't know, but I sure can't wait till next Friday night.
I'm looking forward to it. Enjoy the trip up. Well, we don't get to ride together because we each have to go our own separate ways after the game next week. So drive carefully. I look forward to seeing you up there. And Mike Marsh, the athletic director up at Manhattan, who has been so nice to us, has he probably said it all when we were. My wife and I were driving back from Manhattan after that game the next day. He sent me a text, and it was very simple. See you in 3 weeks.
Yep, that was what it said, and here we are.
Here we are.
2 weeks later on next Friday night. We will definitely be there. Hey, we want to thank Michael Darcy back at the ESPN Wichita studios making punching the buttons, making this one possible, and Kevin will see you next week.
I'll be there with bells on, my friend.
All right, that'll do it from here. Once again, our final score, Northwest 50, Junction City 27, 7 o'clock kickoff next week from Manhattan. Kevin and I will have it for you on ESPN Wichita 92.3, so join us. We will have the action. If you can't make it up to the Little Apple, join us on ESPN Wichita 92.3. We will have the call. That'll do it from here. Once again, our final score, Northwest 50, Junction City 27, Grizzlies and number 1 Manhattan in a rematch of a game 2 weeks ago. We'll do it next Friday night. From Grizzly Stadium, Steve Strain saying so long and good night.